offensive performances in franchise history. What plagued Reich's Indianapolis tenure? The constant turnover at quarterback since Andrew Luck's retirement in 2019, points out our Chris Canty.
The objective is to get a franchise quarterback. Until you get that guy, it's going to be hard to have sustained winning. Frank Reich is a decent coach, got a winning record, couple of playoff appearances in there. But why have they been on uneven footing? It's because they haven't been able to have stability at quarterback.
Chris Canty of Canty and Carlin. Reich had a different starting quarterback in each of his season openers in Indy. Former Colts center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday named Indy's interim coach. The Giants will be without safety and defensive play caller Xavier McKinney for several weeks. He injured his hand in an ATV accident in Cabo during the bye week. NBA, LeBron James out for the Lakers tonight against the Jazz with foot soreness. He's also recovering from an illness that affected him last week.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary? Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. LSU beat Bama. This is how it sounded at the end.
Daniels for the win. Caught. It's good. LSU does it. Mason Taylor.
Let's go. Chris Fowler on ESPN. LSU beats Bama 31-32 in overtime. 32-31 in overtime. Let me get myself straight right here. We got a ton to do today. We will dissect every part of the game and talk about all the ramifications of the win. Because if you thought the conversation around LSU changed after the Ole Miss game, now everything's different. Heisman odds, SEC West odds, playoff odds, all of it. And we're going to get into all of it here over the next 3 hours. Cole Cubelic with us next hour. Gordon McKernan's going to be in studio with us next hour as well. Some exciting NIL stuff coming that we'll tell you about. Oh, by the way, the Saints are playing on Monday Night Football against the Ravens. So, a lot to get to here today. Man, what a night. What a night in Tiger Stadium. We sat here on Friday and told you go make a memory. And it was one certainly that everybody who was there, or even if you weren't, wherever you were watching, however you were watching, it's one we'll talk about forever. It's right up there with, if you want to talk about Cannon's run or the night the clock stopped or the earthquake game or 97 against Florida, name it. 03 against Georgia, 07 against Florida, name it. You want to talk about the best wins in the history of that stadium, that's one that everyone's going to talk about forever. And I was thinking about this after the win and throughout the course of the weekend. My mind kept going back to the idea of, you know why Brian Kelly took the LSU job. Y'all, Brian Kelly's best teams at Notre Dame, his best teams, lost 42-14 and 31-14 to Alabama. What might be possibly his least talented team at LSU just beat Alabama in year one. It's not, believe me, that is not a knock on this team. What they are doing is incredible. But it's easy to see when you look at Brian Kelly, had to remake this roster, transfer portal. You start stacking top 5 recruiting classes on top of each other, and this roster is only going to get stronger. But in year one, with a roster full of transfers and holdovers from the previous staff, they got it done. And y'all, this win, it's not a flex on Notre Dame. Please don't misunderstand me. That's not the whole point of it. It's not pointing and laughing at them. I don't care about them. But it's a reminder of what LSU should be. When you marry elite coaching with elite resources, that's what you should expect. That's the expectation at LSU. My goodness, how awesome was that to watch unfold on Saturday night? A couple of the takeaways from the game itself. Golly, we talked about where Alabama was vulnerable. And the line of scrimmage was certainly part of it. Alabama on the defensive line, boy, those edge rushers are magnificent. And we've talked a lot about those guys. Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, they're awesome. But last week we talked so much about there not being a Jonathan Allen, an A'Shawn Robinson, a Jerron Reed, those guys that had really been the dominant force in this series over the years. Didn't look like they were there. There was never a more glaring example of the disparity on the line of scrimmage in 2015. LSU went to Tuscaloosa with Leonard Fournette, who was the runaway Heisman fraud. I mean, it was locked up. The Heisman was locked up. LSU goes to Tuscaloosa, and Fournette carries 19 times for 31 yards. And in that same game, Derrick Henry ran 38 times for 210. What you expected LSU to do, Bama did. It flipped completely. That was the series for a decade. On Saturday, LSU ran for 185 yards. By the way, sack adjusted 200 yards because college football still stupidly counts sack yardage against your rushing total, whatever. LSU ran for 200 yards in the game. Bama ran for 137. You outrushed them. Your defensive front, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 6 passes defended, 10 quarterback hurries. Do you want to know why Bryce Young completed fewer than 50% of his passes? 2 reasons. Number 1, his receiving talent isn't now what it has been, something we talked about all throughout last week. And the other part of it is LSU's defensive front was active and disruptive and pushed around Alabama's defensive front. There was a play right before halftime when Bama kicked the field goal before half, the second down play after the fumble controversy. Mekhi Wingo was playing end and pushed the offensive lineman into Bryce Young to force the incompletion. LSU was better at the line of scrimmage than Alabama on Saturday. So many angles we could talk about. Field position. Y'all realize the best Alabama field position the entire game was the 35-yard line? Hang on, I had it charted. Alabama's starting field position the entire game. Their own 20, their own 9, their own 11, their own 10, their own 25, their own 19. In the second half, their own 25, their own 25, their own 24, 35 after the kickoff out of bounds, and their own 25. Their best starting field position of the game was after LSU kicked the ball out of bounds. As much maligned as special teams has been, as bad as LSU has been on special teams, they were excellent, including Jay Bramblett, especially Jay Bramblett in that first half, who kept making Alabama drive the length of the field. And time and again, LSU made plays defensively to put Alabama behind the sticks or to snuff out drives and ultimately hold that offense down for the bulk of 3 quarters. But I would say the most impressive thing, and this is another reason why, it's a reason why LSU won on Saturday. It's a reason why they're sitting there right now at 7-2 on the season and 5-1 in conference play, and a reason why I'm not worried about LSU going to Arkansas this week. This team has an incredible ability to flush it, to not let what happened before dictate what will happen ahead. They were down 14 to Florida State, rallied. They were down 13 to Mississippi State, rallied. They were down 17 to Auburn, rallied. They were down 17 to 3 Ole Miss, rallied. A lot of touchdown on the second play of the game to Florida, rallied. Like, we all know it. In that game on Saturday, do you realize, you probably do, but I'm going to say it out loud, every time Alabama scored in the second half, every time, LSU responded with points to retake the lead. Alabama kicked a field goal on its first possession of the second half to go up 9-7. LSU responded with a touchdown drive. When Alabama scored to go up 15-14, LSU responded with a field goal drive to go up 17-15. When Bryce Young had his oopity-oop run around, deep ball touchdown for 41 yards, and Bama went up 21-17 with 4:44 to play in the ball game, LSU responded with a touchdown drive. That was the Mason Taylor touchdown in the corner of the end zone. And then, of course, in overtime, Bama scored first, and LSU answered. Alabama did not run a single play offensively, not one play offensively the entire game with the lead. They had the lead, but every single time they took a lead, LSU answered right back and took it away. This team's ability to just not let negative circumstances affect them is marvelous. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how that happens. I don't know if it's something intangible that these particular group of guys possess, or if it's something that Brian Kelly has pounded into them. Whatever it is, the message has stuck, and this group, it has resonated because they are fantastic. And they just never seem to get bothered when things aren't going well. The end of the first half, Bama's trying to go back-to-back scores. You think you're off the field with a fumble. A technicality of an awful rule gives Alabama another chance, and you go boom, 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 right back off the field, make them kick a field goal. So you go to half with the lead. It's incredible to watch. And y'all, it's amazing. Because the conversation we're going to have right now about LSU this week and for the month of November is dramatic. Y'all, after LSU beat Ole Miss, someone asked, hey, is Jaden Daniels in the Heisman race? We did a whole segment on it here. We looked at what would have to happen, what is the number. We dissected the whole thing. After the Ole Miss game, again, after the Ole Miss game, not before, after. They had blown out Florida. They had beaten Ole Miss, back-to-back games. He had accounted for 11 touchdowns. He was like, boom. Jaden Daniels' Heisman odds were plus 15,000 at DraftKings. Plus 15,000. Today, they're plus 1,800, and only 7 players have better Heisman odds than Jaden Daniels. And if you want to win that thing, you better be playing on that first Saturday in December and have a great game. And he's going to have an opportunity to do it. I don't know if he will, but he's going to have an opportunity to do it. LSU's odds of winning the West are right now at 87.7%. Their odds of winning the SEC championship are 17.1%. Odds of making the playoff are 5%. Basically, they're thinking LSU's going to Atlanta, but not going to beat Georgia. Give this team another month to get better and better and better. It's why playoffs are so important. Teams are allowed to improve. And there is no better embodiment of that than this team. From where they were week 1 against Florida State to where they are now is almost unfathomable how different the teams are. And that is a major hat tip to Brian Kelly for the job he and his staff have done at learning their squad, putting them in the right positions to be successful, to give them an opportunity to play for something meaningful here in November and into December. And Saturday was an amazing backdrop for that amazing canvas for that painting to be drawn, and how beautiful it was. I asked Brian Kelly today on Monday if Saturday night was the best win of his career. Here's what he said.
The biggest win of my career is going to be when we win a national championship. And so I'm focused on one thing when I came down here, and that's to win championships. That's one game. It was an exciting win, but I don't put it in the category of the biggest.
A dude who is not in any way content with what happened on Saturday because the reason he took this job was singular. It wasn't the money. He could have made a ton of money at Notre Dame forever, as long as he wanted to. He came here for one reason: to win a national championship. That's it. He was never going to do it at Notre Dame because he didn't have the resources to do it. LSU is giving him every resource he needs, and he has put LSU in that conversation far more quickly than anyone, yours truly included, could have even dreamed. That's going to make for a really fun November. All right, it's after further review. I want to go through the game itself when we come back. You know how to join us. You can always email us, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. Tweet us at Matt Moscona.
Twitter world.
Thank you, Juice. Jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. We got a ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. You got Monday Night Football tonight, y'all. Great opportunity to watch the Saints and the Ravens. If you don't want to watch it at the house, take it to Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Remember, every single Monday at Pluckers is all-you-can-eat wings. So get on by Pluckers, maybe knock off of work, get on over to Pluckers, order some wings, stay, watch the entire Saints-Ravens game, stay late. They're open to midnight or later every night of the week. That's at Pluckers, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. It's a great opportunity any night to get by Pluckers. Look, you want to start having your Saturday game watch, you could certainly do it. Look, this Saturday, LSU plays at 11 a.m. Pluckers opens at 11. Get there at 11, stay there the entire day. Every night of the week, there's something going on at Pluckers. Tonight's a great opportunity, though, to get by. Watch Monday Night Football. Full slate of NBA games tonight as well. Your home for all your sports viewing pleasure. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings and ice-cold draft beer. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Tactically, we played smart. We were able to pin Alabama in poor field position mostly the first half. Made it difficult for them, and I thought we just played smart. We didn't turn the football over. We had the one play where we came out of coverage late. Other than that, I think our guys played really smart football. So, the basic tenets of winning games like this is one play at a time, play tactically smart, take care of the football. I thought we did all those things and really grew up today.
I'm not going to say it was a flawless game, but it was as close to that as LSU could have hoped for and what they really needed to beat a team like Alabama. We're brought to you by Chutes Electric, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com. Storm season is over, but this is actually the best time to think about a home standby generator. Y'all, the worst time is when there's a storm in the Gulf. Call Chutes Electric right now. Get that free estimate. Home standby generators are more affordable than you think. Chutes Electric, CESofLA.com. Financing is available, and they handle everything, y'all. Maybe best of all, aside from handling permitting, installation, talking to the city, the power company, all that, remember, they offer 24/7 support at Chutes Electric because power outages are not a 9-to-5 thing. Chutes Electric, CESofLA.com. We had our home standby generator installed after Ida. Could not recommend it highly enough. CESofLA.com. LSU beats Alabama 32-31. We'll get to a lot of your reaction. You can email us, tweet us. You know the drill. Text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Let's start with the end. The decision to go for two. Here was Brian Kelly after the game on why he made the decision at the time to go for two.
It was a decision at that moment. I just felt as I thought about it, if we could boil this game down to one play and win this game, before the game started, if you asked me, hey, I'm going to give you one play, and if you're successful on that one play, you beat Alabama, I would have taken that 100 times out of 100. And so at that moment, it kind of hit me that way. And I knew we had a really good play that we hadn't used and they hadn't seen. And when you get 5 out on the perimeter, you truly have a threat. And so I felt really good about the play, and it was well executed, and that was the thought behind it.
As a lot of people have pointed out, it was the same play that Clemson ran, the pick play with Hunter Renfrow to beat Alabama in the national championship game a half a decade ago. It's a play that the Saints made famous with Lance Moore and the two-point conversion in the Super Bowl and ran so many times, but it really works if you have someone who is sure-handed and can get to the pylon, and Mason Taylor did just that. So congrats to Mason Taylor, who today was named SEC Freshman of the Week for his efforts against Alabama. He was magnificent, not only the two-point conversion, the touchdown reception at the end of the fourth quarter, and actually made some really big plays earlier in the game as well. So Brian Kelly said early in the season that Mason Taylor actually compared him to Brock Bowers at Georgia, which caught a lot of people's attention. But as this season's gone along, Mason Taylor has validated a lot of that trust. The decision to go for two was 100% the right one. And that's not that is not hindsight. In the moment, I even tweeted, "Go win the game." We saw Kyle Whittingham do this at Utah against USC as well. You have the advantage. You're the offense. You're calling the play. You're at the 3-yard line. You have 3 yards to go to win the football game. Go win the football game. And the longer a game extends, the more it favors the better team. Oddly, I think LSU was the better team on Saturday, but you can never discount Bryce Young. Like he rallied Alabama late in the game many times and just kept throwing punches. So you had an opportunity to go win it. I loved the call. It's what they should have done, quite honestly, against Florida State. We said it at the time. You had no business winning that game. You were awful for 3 quarters. They left the door open for you. Remember, after Malik Neighbors' muff punt, they fumbled a snap. I mean, Florida State fumbled a snap, which gave you the ball, which gave you the opportunity to go tie the game. And a 2-point conversion could have won it. They were on their heels. You should have. Didn't, but did this time, so it was 100% the right play. But what Brian Kelly was alluding to there was where he said we weren't going to let anybody else decide, who wins the game. And he said that in the post-game locker room as well to his team. What he was alluding to, of course, were some of the calls by officials, which have been a high point of contention. I will tell you honestly, as ecstatic as I am that LSU won the game for all the reasons we've talked about, I am also glad that I don't have to hear bitching about officials. I'm telling you very candidly, because LSU fans have made that a hobby over the years. if it's the Patrick Peterson 09 deal, the still shot of holding from the 2016 game, the 10-0 game. Never mind the fact that in 2009 you couldn't move the ball and Charles Scott had broken his collarbone. He was out. And in 2016, you didn't score a single point. So, okay, negate the Jalen Hurts touchdown run, you lose 3-0. Point is, a lot of times it is a losing mentality to always blame officials or blame someone else in a game where you have 150 plays that can determine how an outcome should go. So I'm very glad we don't have to talk about that. What I do I want to give you an opinion on what happened. Number one, the fumble was at the time devastating. It was the right call, but it was a technicality, and that's what annoys me. And probably a lot of you as well. And I know some people don't understand why that rule exists, but understand football is a game with boundaries. Like, you have to play inside of the boundary. If you go out of bounds, you can't participate. If you're carrying the ball and you go out of bounds, the play is dead. If you are a receiver and you go out of bounds and come back in, you can't be the first to touch the ball. That's a penalty. It's illegal touching. If you are on defense or covering a kick and you're running out of bounds, then it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. You can't go outside the boundary. So let's say that fumble, let's say Cam Latu had fumbled the ball, had gone out of bounds, come back in, picked it up and tried to advance it. Well, he can't. It's dead. He went out of bounds. So in that moment, he fumbles the ball. Beautiful play by Sage Ryan. That's the other part that's maybe not talked about enough is in that moment, Sage Ryan, huge strip of a big tight end. Awesome play. And Greg Brooks goes and snags the ball. Well, Cam Latu just happens to have half of his body laying out of bounds when he's reaching for the ball. I don't believe, and I don't know if any Alabama media asked him this after the game, I don't believe he was reaching to touch the ball to try to down the ball. I think he was trying to recover the fumble. I don't think he had any awareness that half his body was out of bounds and he was just trying to deaden the ball, kill the ball. I don't think he knew the rule and that's what he was thinking. I think he was trying to recover the fumble. It just so happens that half his body was out of bounds, so as soon as he touched the ball, it was a dead ball. It sucks. It's a technicality. It's not why the rule existed, and it took away a major opportunity because Bama was trying to go back-to-back there. LSU's up 7-3. Bama gets the ball at the end of the first half, and to start the second half, that's why you always defer, and was trying to go back-to-back scores. And they did score on both those possessions, but it goes back to something that you have to credit LSU. In that moment, you think you're off the field, all the emotion, all the elation, and then no, you have to come back out because of a technicality and get back on the field and stop that offense again, and they did. Incomplete pass, reception for 8 yards, field goal, and you go to the half with a lead. It was time and again when they did that. Now, the one that really bothered me was the Mekhi Wingo tip in overtime. And the reason is, and Paul, see if you could pull that up, please. The reason is a couple of things. Whenever plays are reviewed, we all know this. There has to be indisputable video evidence. We all know that at this point, okay? We've all heard it a million times. It's got to be indisputable. When you look at that play, and especially when spotting the football, it's rare that every single camera angle will tell you the story. Sometimes, and officials are allowed to piece together what happened by piecing together different camera angles. The camera angle behind Mekhi Wingo was not revealing. The camera angle from Bryce Young's vantage point was, because you could see Mekhi Wingo's middle finger disappear, meaning there was no space between his finger and the ball. If there's no space between his finger and the ball, it hit the ball. That's one. Two, the ball very clearly changes trajectory. Unless if some mythical force came down onto Tiger Stadium in that exact moment and just twisted the football, the ball, as it was crossing over Mekhi Wingo's finger, the ball was tipped by Mekhi Wingo. And you have the player immediately jumping up saying, I tipped it. So, but again, credit LSU in that situation. I mean, it was PI on Sage Ryan. I mean, the PI was a good call. But it should have been negated because the ball was tipped, and that would have been a break for LSU. But even still, you give up the touchdown and you come right back and win it. It's incredible resiliency for this team that we've seen over and over again. A couple of other things from the game itself. We talked a lot about the offensive line, and T-Bob and I were talking about this on Whiskey and Wine after the game, and he was giving major props to the D-line for dominating, to the offensive line, for dominating. And I said, do you realize Alabama had 6 sacks 11 TFLs and a quarterback hurry. Oh, they wreaked havoc at times. They created negative plays. But it didn't feel like it, which is why context matters. Because by and large, you watch that game, it didn't feel like Alabama was on a free rush to kill LSU every time. It felt like LSU held up brilliantly. And I'll tell you, one play in particular, one sequence in particular. In the first half, it was the second quarter, when LSU scored its first touchdown. It was a first down play, and Will Campbell got badly beaten by Will Anderson. And Will Anderson sacked Jaden Daniels. You all remember the play. The very next play was the John Emery touchdown. And Will Campbell stonewalled Will Anderson on that play. The ability of a freshman to just flush it and move on was incredible. And, of course, John Emery made an awesome play. I thought the offensive line was fantastic. They did allow pressures, but Bama's really good. Will Anderson might be the first pick in the draft. Dallas Turner's awesome. Their linebackers fly around. They're fast and athletic. Henry To'o is an All-American. They're great. They're really great players. But hat on a hat, LSU moved bodies and they ran the ball for over 5 yards a carry, even in key spots. After Bama took the lead in the fourth quarter, 21-17, LSU's driving. They got a 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7. This would have been at the 21-yard line, the Alabama 21-yard line. 3rd and 7. You know it's 4-down territory. It's 4-down territory. You got 2 plays. So you run on 3rd down to make it 4th and manageable so you have a run-pass option. They run Josh Williams 14 yards off right side. Gets the first down. Offensive line created holes. Josh Williams ran hard. All the running backs did, I thought. It was just a magnificent performance. I thought LSU controlled the line of scrimmage, which you can't say often in this game. And Brian Kelly was asked about that today. When he met with the media today, the question was asked about defense. It was asked about defense being the formula for winning championships. And Brian Kelly, as he meandered his way through the answer, actually changed it to what he thinks ultimately wins championships. It's number 9.
This is about not winning. This is about winning championships. And it's my belief that winning championships still, you've got to control the line of scrimmage at the end of the day. And so controlling the line of scrimmage is stopping the run and running the football effectively and exerting your will. So there has to be a physicality about what you do.
Stopping the run, running the football effectively. You limited Alabama to 137 yards on 30 carries. It's a nice day. That ain't Derrick Henry running 38 times for 210. And you better believe LSU 34 carries for $185. And again, sack adjusted. That's with the sack yardage mixed in. So that's 6 sacks, which negated 15 yards. So if you actually look at it, LSU really rushed the ball 28 times for 200 yards. Yo, that's over 6 yards a carry. That's almost 7 yards a carry on average when you're sack adjusted. Incredible. What a day for LSU. I need to grab a quick break. We haven't even gotten to what the defense did, which I thought Matt House's plan was magnificent, and I do want to dive into that as well. Let me knock out a break. We're going to go around the SEC. We've got some house cleaning we got to do as well. We'll go around the SEC, but I don't care about the rest of the league. We'll talk about what kind of a recruiting weekend it was for the Tigers based on, as they say, to the victors go the spoils, and LSU is certainly collecting right now. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. You know where to find them online at brgeneral.org, and, of course, locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area, the Bluebonnet campus, the Mid-City location, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, and, of course, they've got their Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. That's walk-in, urgent care, 7 days a week. And remember, we've talked about this often, at the Baton Rouge General, they have the Advanced Robotics Institute for robotic surgery. People sometimes ask, is the robot performing the surgery? No. But what the robotic surgery and the Robotics Institute allows is your surgeon to be more precise. They can set parameters for incisions, so you can have smaller incisions. You can have more accurate results. You can have less downtime. Check it out at brgeneral.org if you want to learn more about the specialized attention, the leading experts. It's all there at brgeneral.org.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Keeper escapes, makes a cut. Daniels in space. He'll score!
The crowd was unbelievable. They created an energy unlike one that I can remember that was sustainable for our football team. That was truly a home field advantage for us.
Brian Kelly talking after the game about the crowd, and you all did it again. We talked about making a memory on Friday. And this is kind of becoming a little bit of a common thing. Of course, back in 1988 when LSU played Auburn, it became known as the Earthquake Game because, as you all know the story, there was a seismograph in the geology building that was left on, and it registered at the time when Hodson hit Fuller. LSU did that intentionally for the Garth Brooks concert. If you remember this summer when Garth played Call in Baton Rouge, the seismograph registered. Well, LSU had, again, they did it again. They left the seismograph on, and you could see at two different moments at it looks like 10:03 and 10:06. You had, if you're looking, here it is right here. This is 10:03 right here. and then this would be 10:06, the overtime play. So the touchdown and then the 2-point conversion as registered here as well on the top, the color-coded one, 10:03 and then 10:06. So pretty incredible that LSU keeps moving the earth. Part of me, I was thinking about this earlier today. I was like, LSU kind of needs to stop turning this thing on because the more it happens, the less special it feels. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you know what I mean? It's like this keeps happening. Are other schools going to do it? But then you know what I thought? I was like, to hell with that. To hell with it. Do you realize how incredible it is? Like a group of humans moved the earth. I don't care how often that happens because even if you try, I think even if you tried to recreate that, I don't think you could. I think it's the simultaneous exuberation, this innate guttural exuberation of all these people yelling and jumping simultaneously. The circumstance of which, how do you recreate that? Like, how do you get a circumstance where 102, first of all, the stadium's full in that type of game where there's that much tension, which is built up for 4 hours, and then that happens. So now I keep doing it, man. Do it every game. Let's see how many times. I dare other schools to try to do that. I dare you to somewhere on campus turn on a seismograph, see if you can do the same thing. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and see how difficult it is to move the earth. Look at this thing. I mean, because look, pull that up again, Paulie. Here's the thing. That's not the entire game, and like you can see the noise and little disturbances in big moments, but like look at the enormous spikes, which would suggest large movement. There were huge moments all throughout that game. There were touchdowns and interceptions, but only the moments in overtime created the kaboom. So yeah, go ahead. Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, Bama. Y'all try it. USC, well not USC. I mean, nobody go to them games anyway. All right. It's after further review. Usually, we go around the SEC. I don't care about the rest of the SEC today. Do you? Does anybody else care about I don't care about the SEC today. So, what I'm going to do is take a second. And Around the SEC is presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics. And I've been doing that for more than 20 years now. Gulf Coast Office Products. The old adage is to the victor go the spoils. LSU beats Alabama on Saturday. They had an impressive guest list of recruiting visitors, of recruits on campus, and LSU did net 2 commitments coming out of the weekend. This was after a pretty big week last week when they got their 2024 quarterback commit. Dylan Carpenter from Santa Ma, nearby, has committed. He's an edge rusher for the class of 2023. So he's a current senior, so he's in this current class. He becomes the 25th commit for 2023. He's 6'3", 240, the number 18 prospect in the state of Louisiana, the 44th ranked edge rusher in the country. He had been committed to ULL. Now he flips to LSU. And a couple of things on this. Some may look and say, well, you're kind of scraping the bottom if you take a guy who was committed 3-star ULL. No. A couple of things. Number one, do you trust the staff's evaluation? If you do, and they've proven they deserve that trust, then you're good with it. That's one. 2, players are allowed to improve. Like, I'll remind you that Justin Jefferson was a 2-star, and Jacob Hester was a 2-star, and Tyron started as a 2-star until he got his LSU offer. Then he started getting more accolades. Lloyd Cushenberry was a 3-star who was the last dude in the class. It was like you had to wait until signing day to see if there was a spot. They ended up taking him. Lloyd Cushenberry was reminded today walking into the Lawton room. Lloyd Cushenberry was a first-team All-American in 2019 and was a draft pick and started as a rookie in the NFL. Some guys just develop later, and that's okay. And because there are no more hard cap signing rules, a guy like Dylan Carpenter becomes really intriguing because maybe in another year, it might be a scenario where you go, like you had to do with Cushenberry, where you say, all right, look, wait until signing day. There's some guys we're waiting on. We're hard capped at 25. It might be a numbers thing. Let's see if we have room if we do jump in. Now, because there's no hard cap and you can sign over 25, it's easy. You like the prospect, take him. If you think he's worth a 4-year scholarship commitment, take him. And I love it. I love having a local kid. He's a top 20 kid in the state of Louisiana. He's everything. I talked to recruiting guy Dylan Carpenter's had a great senior year at Santa Ma. I love it. I love taking a local kid who would cut himself and bleed LSU, bleed purple and gold, who wants to be here. Absolutely. Program guy. Maybe he doesn't start right away, but I'll tell you the other thing. You need edge rushers. You're losing Ali Gay and B.J. Ojolari this year, which means scholarship edge rushers returning for next year. Savion Jones, Xavier Carter, Quincy Wiggins. That's it. That's all the scholarship edge players you have right now. So you got to go load up there. So I love it. I love taking Dylan Carpenter for 2023. You got Jackson Howard committed. You got Joshua Mickens committed as well. So Carpenter becomes the third edge player for this class for 2023. And then they added an offensive lineman for 2024. You can tell they are loading up in 2024 already, y'all. I mean, they're doing work for this current class. I mean, they're top 5. I think they're 4th in the country right now for 2023. Kyrie Lee from John Ehret becomes the 7th commit for 2024. I mean, they're already getting a jump start with some of the biggest players in the state. You get guys on campus for that game, it's like hook, line, sinker. 6'5", 330. This is a high school junior. 6'5", 330. Chose LSU over Florida State, Mississippi State, Texas. Had offers from lots of other schools, but those were the ones that he was considering. So a literal massive get for LSU there on the offensive line. And we've talked about it. You're going to get your entire offensive line back for next year. Charles Turner's coming back at center. Your 2 tackles, obviously, are freshmen. You're going to get, Miles Frazier has the option to leave early, but I would assume he comes back. Garrett Dellinger, healthy, and Anthony Bradford's back as well. So really your first 6 guys should all come back. And then you had such a great recruiting class last year with Jones and Campbell who are already playing. Now you start looking at the 23 class, the guys that are currently committed, and then 24 beyond that. Whenever the guys like Campbell and Jones are ready to go off to the NFL, you're bringing in this next crop behind them. So, man, I love what the program is doing, what the staff is doing, and it is so impressive how quickly this has come together with not only the results on the field, but the big question, could Brian Kelly recruit Louisiana? Could he recruit at LSU? He is answering that emphatically, and it's massively impressive. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. 29 offices across 11 different states. You know where to find them. They're online at Michelli.com, and they are hiring, by the way, as well. So if you go to the website, Michelli.com, hit the Careers tab at the top of the page, you'll see all the jobs that are available if you want to apply online. You want to work for a local company that's been in business for 75 years, continue to grow, and allowed growth for its employees as well. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, your partner for weighing and measurement equipment services since 1947. You weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. They're an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, y'all, Cole Cubelic in 30 minutes. Gordon McKernan, bottom of next hour. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Our What to Watch recap to wrap hour number 1 on AFR.
AFR.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
By the way, shout out to Cody Efferson. We were talking about the recruit that LSU got on Sunday, the commitment from Dylan Carpenter out of Santa Ma. And we're talking about how he's a 3-star. Cody Efferson said, your boy Mason Taylor was a 3-star too. Stars ain't. Well, he put expletive. I'm not going to say that on the radio. But lo and behold, Mason Taylor, a 3-star, the 51st best tight end in the country.
Stay hot.
National rank overall. Here it is. Here it is in the composite, the 247 composite. Paul, if you want to pull up his profile. He was the 51st best tight end in the country, according to 247. In the composite, he was 24th. 24th tight end, but national number 492 in the country, 3-star. He doesn't stink. All right, let's recap what to watch, Muse. Hit it.
We watched. Now let's review.
All right, well, I was watching Florida and Texas A&M, and A&M stinks.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
Well, that's all I got.
Brevity matters here. We're short. Go, Paul.
I was going to see if Hendon Hooker could lock up the Heisman, and that was an emphatic no.
Oh, no, he did not. We were watching the unranked teams favored over ranked teams. Washington won, but did not cover. Stinkers. Kansas, Pitt, both won and covered. Otter stays hot.
Clemson's run defense also stinks. 263 yards to Notre Dame. Goodbye, Clemson.
I was watching Kirk Cousins return to Washington. It was an okay game for Cousins. I mean, they ended up winning, but it wasn't a great day.
Plane ride was fun.
He won on the plane ride. I was watching Hugh Freeze at Arkansas.
Hey.
Led 21-0. Won the game 21-19. Told you, bro, don't be sleeping on Freeze on that sleepy little day in Fayetteville. Hogs got clipped.
Buffalo Bills have company, and it's the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins already have a win over the Bills, and they are inching closer in the AFC East.
The faces in new places in the NFL. No one really had a good day except for T.J. Hawkinson. He ended up with 9 catches for 70 yards.
Really good day. And I was watching Rams-Bucks, two teams desperate for a win. Tom Brady gets it with a record-setting comeback touchdown pass with 9 seconds left. Rams fall to 3-5. Rams are going to miss the playoffs this year. All right, that's what we were watching. We always tell you that on Friday. Then we recap what we were watching here on Monday. All right, it's AFR presented by Relief Windows. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Quick break. When we come back, I just got a text asking, can you spell out the scenarios for LSU in the SEC West? Yes. When we come back, SEC and CFP scenarios for LSU. We'll spell it out.
AFR.
Y'all, this Thursday at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Christmas in November. It's this Thursday. Every year, one day only, best sale of the year, best specials of the year. They're one-day only specials this Thursday, Christmas in November, at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. You can certainly RSVP. They would appreciate it, so that way they know how many people to plan for. So you can go to the website to RSVP. But the Baton Rouge Christmas in November is this Thursday. Lafayette is next week, but this Thursday, all day, 10 to 2. They take a little break in the middle of the day, then 4 o'clock until. There's food, there's beer, wine, champagne. It's catered, first class, live entertainment, Botox, body sculpting, fillers, lipo, HRT, everything. Best sale of the year, one day only, this Thursday at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A day after the Colts offense struggled yet again, the team fired coach Frank Reich. Indy's dropped 3 in a row, is 3-5-1 on the season. One of the biggest issues for Reich throughout his nearly 5-year Colts tenure, the inability for the organization to find a successor following franchise quarterback Andrew Luck's retirement in 2019. Former Colts center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday named interim coach in Indy. Couple of things they're looking for from Saturday, points out ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
Make this team tougher. Won't beat itself, more competitive, play with a little bit more passion. It just seemed like, towards the end there, things just weren't working out for whatever reason, Chris, as it related to Coach Wright. And I don't think Jeff's going to come in from day one and have all the answers. In fact, I think it'll be somewhat opposite. It's going to take a minute.
Mike Tannenbaum on Canty and Carlin. ESPN's Chris Mortensen's reporting Bills quarterback Josh Allen's being evaluated for an elbow injury to his UCL and related nerves. Coach Sean McDermott said earlier today they do have to have more information on Allen at some point tomorrow.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary? Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Celebratory Monday here in Baton Rouge. LSU upends Alabama in overtime 32-31, and the conversation around LSU has now dramatically changed. I got a question there just before the top of the hour to the text line. You can always text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. It was Austin McCurry who said, Matt, what are the scenarios for LSU to win the West? Okay. I want to go through that, and we'll do that here in just a second. Not only the West, but the playoff scenarios as well. Cole Cubelic in 12 minutes, Gordon McKernan in studio, bottom of this hour. Of course, what do they call him? Like the Godfather of NIL. It's, and there's more exciting stuff to come. So that's coming up. Real quick, of course, it is the Saints are playing tonight on Monday Night Football. And just a very, very quick, normally when Saints on Monday Night Football, we'd be spending a tremendous amount of time on that. We're not today because of this. We'll get into all the Saints stuff tomorrow. But Mike Triplett just tweeted the Saints transaction updates. The Saints have activated Jordan Howard, Kevin White, and P.J. Williams. So all are on the active roster for tonight's game against the Ravens. And Jordan Howard, as Mike noted, should get real snaps. Mark Ingram's out with the knee injury. So you're talking about Kamara and then Jordan Howard. Those are really your 1 and 2 backs for tonight's ballgame. Wide receiver Kevin White and then P.J. Williams should see some time tonight on the field as well for Monday Night Football. Okay. So LSU beats Alabama on Saturday, which means they are firmly in command of the SEC West. And at this point, it would take quite a significant upset for LSU not to end up in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. Brian Kelly was asked about it today. Will he talk to his team about the SEC West race? Here's what Brian Kelly had to say.
Our goal is to graduate champions. So part of this is they want to be champions, and they know that there are steps along the way in this process of getting there. And so this week will be another step towards becoming a champion. So, yeah, the championships are important. That's what they're here for. and getting a class today is what they're here for. So it definitely starts, but, we're not going to walk in with a PowerPoint on the SEC championship race and who's got what and all those things. But, yeah, it's there. It's out there. They know what they're going for.
Okay, so Brian Kelly's not going to have a PowerPoint. We're not going to have a PowerPoint, but we're going to walk through all the scenarios. If you look at ESPN's Football Power Index, they have all the updated percentages. Paula, you can pull this up. I know that's small. That may not actually read really well, so apologies for that. But LSU is obviously the highlighted one. And let me just zoom in then so we could see a little better. For those listening on radio, my apologies. This is the percentages, possibility of projections for LSU. So possibility of LSU winning the division is now at 87.7% right there. That's to win the West. Winning the conference is at 17%. To make the playoff, 5%. To make the national championship game, 1.8%. And to win the national championship, just a 0.7% chance. So long odds for all of those. But at this point, it's almost a certainty that LSU will be in Atlanta. Here's how. Right now, LSU can make it to Atlanta one of three different ways. The easiest and best way would be for LSU to win out. If LSU wins out, beating Arkansas and Texas A&M, LSU would finish 7-1 in the conference, and they would have and even if Bama's at 2 losses now, but even if Ole Miss wins out, LSU, by virtue of its head-to-head win over Ole Miss, would win the West. So that's the easiest scenario. LSU, win out, you're in. LSU would also make the playoff with would make the West, the SEC championship game, would win the West and make the championship game with a win over Arkansas or A&M and an Ole Miss loss. Let's say, hypothetically, Ole Miss, who plays Alabama this weekend, loses. If Alabama beats Ole Miss, then Bama and Ole Miss each have 2 losses. If Ole Miss loses to Bama and LSU wins the West. If Ole Miss loses to Bama and LSU goes 1-1 in their remaining SEC games, you would have a 3-way tie at 6-2, but LSU would have beaten both Ole Miss and Bama, would have the tiebreaker, and would go to Atlanta. There's one other way, which would be not preferable at all, but LSU could lose to Arkansas and A&M and still make the SEC championship game. But you would have to have a 3-way tie at 5-3, meaning Bama would have to lose again, and Ole Miss would have to lose twice. It's possible that Ole Miss could lose twice. I'm not so sure I see Bama losing again, unless if Auburn could clip them. But Ole Miss this weekend plays Bama, then they're at Arkansas, then they have the Egg Bowl. So it's possible that Ole Miss could drop 2 of those games. That wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me a little if Alabama lost again. When you look at what Bama has left, as we mentioned, they have Ole Miss this weekend, and that's in Oxford. So they got Ole Miss this weekend in Oxford, and then they have Austin Peay, and then they play the Iron Bowl. So they would have to lose to either Ole Miss or the Iron Bowl. And in that scenario, you'd have a 3-way tie at 5-3, and LSU would still go to the SEC championship game. But like we said, the best case scenario, LSU wins out, goes 10-2, they're in. But they could clinch this weekend if LSU beats Arkansas and Ole Miss loses to Alabama. LSU clinches. The college football playoff is a little more convoluted, and my belief is Clemson losing on Saturday opens the door for a potential 2-loss LSU if they win the SEC championship to be in the playoff. What is most likely to happen, Michigan, Ohio State play as undefeated teams. The winner of that game wins the Big Ten championship and is in the playoff. So if you have an undefeated Michigan or Ohio State, potentially an undefeated TCU, they would occupy 2 spots. Undefeated Clemson would have had a spot, but their strength of schedule is not going to be enough to overcome the loss to Notre Dame. Clemson would have had to have been undefeated. So Clemson losing opens up a spot because now the ACC is out. So undefeated Big Ten champ, potentially undefeated Big 12 champ TCU. 2-loss SEC champ LSU, I think, would be in, along with likely a 1-loss Pac-12 champ if it were Oregon. If Oregon runs the table, goes 11-1, remember, Pac-12 dropped divisions, so their championship game is just the 2 best teams in the league. So you theoretically, let's say USC beats UCLA and has 1 loss. So it's an Oregon-USC matchup in the Pac-12 championship game of 1-loss teams, and Oregon beats USC. I think Oregon, as a conference champion, would be in over 1-loss Georgia, which lost the SEC championship game, and a potential 1-loss Tennessee, 1-loss Clemson, and 1-loss Michigan or Ohio State. Basically, if you're LSU, you're kind of rooting for chaos. You'd really like to see TCU lose a game as well. So you don't have undefeated conference champions. Because if you have undefeated Power 5 champions, they're in. Just book it, they're in. But there oddly is a path for LSU, but it would certainly include winning out and having an SEC championship game win over unbeaten and number 1 ranked Georgia. That doesn't feel super likely, but neither did us having this conversation less than a month ago when LSU got pounded by Tennessee in Baton Rouge. The New Year's 6 is infinitely more likely. If LSU ends up as the top-ranked SEC team outside of the playoff, they would go to the Sugar Bowl. If LSU drops, let's say, below Tennessee, let's say Tennessee finishes 11-1, and LSU, let's say, goes to the SEC championship game, loses to Georgia, and drops below Tennessee, Tennessee would go sugar, LSU would go orange, and likely play Clemson. So you're really starting to narrow down what those likelihood and scenarios are for LSU. But most importantly, this weekend, beat Arkansas, have Alabama beat Ole Miss, and you clinch the West. All right, it's after further review. Cole Cubelic of the SEC Network will join us next, and Gordon McKernan, bottom of the hour. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You can spell it out. Pre-season heater safety checks. Y'all, I want to tell you, so many people put this off until the weather gets cold. I don't know if you've looked at the temperatures for next week, but we are looking at, temps dipping down into the 50s, like highs of around 50, which is crazy to think. Like Thursday, the high is 50. I'm sorry, the low is 51. Next Monday, the high is 57. We're dipping down in the 40s. So it's almost here. The cold weather is almost here. Make sure you get your preseason heater safety check. Schedule this now. Get it done now. You can save $30 just by mentioning the Moscona special. River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll come to your house to make sure your unit is clean, efficient, safe. Just do it. Call 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. He enjoys Victory cigars and pancake blocks. It's time to preview this week in the SEC with Cole Cubelic, presented by Roosters Men's Grooming.
All right, we do it every Monday after the weekend that was in the SEC. We welcome aboard Cole Cubelic of the SEC Network and Jocks FM there in Birmingham to recap the weekend. How are you, dude?
Doing well, Matt. How about yourself?
Are you kidding me? You can ask me that question on this day? In this town? Holy moly. Hey, so going back and watching LSU Alabama, what stood out that maybe caught your eye that you weren't expecting to see?
I'm not sure that I believed Harold Perkins was that fast, honestly, and I knew he was fast. But I didn't know he had that kind of closing speed. And, the times in which he was a spy on Bryce Young. And, what's crazy about it is it wasn't as though he was leaving the pocket and he caught up to him. It was the ability to close on him when he got outside the pocket and attempted to try to find something else down the field, and he would disrupt that pass. I mean, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times, whatever it was. Brilliant plan from Matt House to utilize him in that way. And not sure Alabama really had an answer for it, because Bryce is not a guy that leaves the pocket to run. He leaves the pocket to find things down the field. So to have Harold Perkins sort of wait, and then when he get outside the tackle box, then go attack him and force his hand, it was brilliant, and it worked well. And it was something that was a big advantage for LSU. The other thing would just be kind of how Coach Denbrock continues to build upon things inside that offense. You saw more jet motion, guys coming flat across the line of scrimmage that would be an option in different ways, whether they could kind of quickly spit it out to them in the flat, or it was a give, or it was some sort of a read. And then off those reads, you saw Jaden Daniels with some more north-south runs in this game. Hadn't seen a ton of those this season. So they just continue to do a really nice job of sort of adding little wrinkles to the offense, marrying things up on the offense. And by doing that, it doesn't become 5 or 6 times more complicated for the players, because to them you're adding one thing that's different, but it presents itself in a very different way to the defense.
Cole, I watched the game, and for me the biggest surprise in this game from what I've seen in the last 10 years in this series is LSU didn't get pushed around at the line of scrimmage. If anything, it was a stalemate, or LSU kind of had a little bit of an edge. How has that happened at Alabama to where their ability to overwhelm people on the line of scrimmage just doesn't seem like that's there anymore?
Well, I think on the defensive line, the only place that it's there is out on the edge. And that's, Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. And then I think, too, when you're talking about on the offensive line, I think the only way that I can explain it that would make a ton of sense is that, they have sort of been an RPO-based offense for, I don't know, 6-7 years now? And maybe that's not the only thing that they've done or done well, but that's been a massive part of what they do. And you just think about an RPO in general. I mean, your offensive line, they can't be decisive in, okay, are we legitimately trying to get a 2-yard push on this play? Or are we having to pause and wait, make sure the ball's thrown before we go downfield? You know, that kind of extra thinking that's involved in whether or not you want to inflict harm on someone at that position can cause a lot of damage. And, you know, Nick Saban's addressed that in previous years where, you know, you folks get all mad at us because, you know, we're not dominant in short yardage situations, or we can't go out there and run a 4-minute offense and just find ways to churn yards away. But yet when our quarterback's throwing slants the other 3 quarters, you're excited about it. Well, he's throwing those off of called run plays. So I just think the mentality's not there. If you work the RPO as much as they do, you cannot practice running the ball near as much as you're working on those things. And so I just think it subtracts a little bit of that demeanor. It subtracts a little bit of that attitude, and it takes away from what you're going to be capable of doing in a game. And they've been that for a couple of years now. It's not necessarily a bad thing because, well, let's be real. You know, when they had Jamison Williams last year and John Mechie, when they had, you know, Ruggs and Judy and Waddle, all that stuff was really cool and fun, and there's a big reason why they beat people and beat people bad. But now they don't have those receivers, and so it's not as valuable. And when you want to try to bludgeon someone, they don't have to respect the receivers in the same way. You can play them in a very different manner.
He's on Twitter at Cole Cubelic, courtesy of Roosters, with us here every Monday. Roosters Men's Grooming Center, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Should LSU be on alert heading to Fayetteville or College Station?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You're always a little bit fearful going on the road, okay? And that's like Kirby said. It's one of my favorite quotes of this entire season after the Missouri game. It's like, listen, I try to tell you guys, it's hard to win on the road in this league. And you just saw Kentucky face it again. Yeah. Now, Kentucky didn't play clean football, but still, it doesn't matter how many people are there or where it is. It's hard to win on the road in this league. And, you know, we see it. We saw it in the A&M with the South Carolina a couple weeks ago. They had 7 false starts. Mm-hmm. And now, did they do their part to give that game to South Carolina early? 100-yard kickoff return, fumble that turned into 3 points, pick that turned into 7 points? Yeah, absolutely. But still, it is difficult to win on the road in this league. So that part of it, yes, of course, you must be prepared. You must have a plan to handle what comes with that. But if you're just talking about lining up and playing football, I don't think so. I mean, like you said, the line of scrimmage has grown leaps and bounds. You know, 92 and 99 are playing dominant football inside. We know 18 and 11 and what they're capable of doing off the edge. The offensive line has gained some continuity and has a better understanding of how to manage things, what they're going to be asked to do, how they're going to do different things. So I think that's of extreme value. And then just the way in which they're managing and running this offense right now, which are playing into the strengths of Jaden Daniels and allowing other playmakers to have the ball in their hand in a high percentage way, I think it's just something that's going to be difficult for a lot of defenses to deal with. And on top of that, the plans that have been put in place have been magnificent, especially this past week against Alabama. You know, Matt House does a good job changing things up just enough. And then on top of that, I think you also have an offensive coordinator, Coach Denbrock, that understands the strengths of that football team. Look at Mason Taylor. I mean, how critical was he in the first 3-4 games of the season? Not very, but he is now. He's a massive part of what they do right now. And, you know, I don't see that changing anytime soon, but it also took them a couple of weeks to work into that.
Does Ole Miss have a chance to beat Alabama on Saturday?
Say that again. I'm sorry, Matt.
Does Ole Miss have a chance to beat Alabama on Saturday?
Absolutely. Because, number one, we know they struggle with tempo. You know they struggle with pace. And they're not fitting the run as well as they have in the past. And that's a team that's going to spread you out. That takes away some of the physical capabilities that they have on the inside, with that front seven. And then when they go fast, Alabama's defensive line is not very deep. I mean, they have probably 4 guys that they should be playing. I'm talking about the interior. And so when you can go like that, and they don't have a lot of extra edge guys that come in and give them a lot of help either, and they're not deep at linebacker. So if Ole Miss goes warp speed in this game, all of a sudden Alabama's behind the 8 ball, and they're in a tough spot. Now, what I don't like is that defensively, this is a game, kind of like what you were referencing earlier. If Alabama decides we're going to go north and south, we're going to run right at this football team, they should be able to do it. It's not a heavy defense. It's a defense that does not fit the run very well, and it's a defense that they should be able to have a lot of success against. Now, they bust assignments like they did against Mississippi State. They allow a lot of leakage like they did against LSU. It's not really going to matter how big, strong, or fast they are. Penetration's penetration, and it's going to disrupt either way. So they absolutely can get them. And the fact, once again, winning on the road in this league is hard, and that place will be rocking this weekend.
Well, ask Tennessee. Tennessee went to Athens, and 27-13 does not tell the story, Cole, of that game. You and I talked about it. Forgive me, I just don't remember exactly what our convo was a week ago. But, man, I don't know. I thought Tennessee would cover and have a chance to win the game. They were completely overwhelmed and outmatched. How much better is Georgia than everybody, or was that a one-off day where it just everything went Georgia's way and nothing went Tennessee's way?
I think a lot of things went Georgia's way. Not many things went Tennessee's way. But I mean, this is not one that Tennessee just gave them that game.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it's one thing if you start off, kind of like LSU did against Tennessee, and you fumble the opening kickoff, you have some early penalties, and you turn it over a couple of times. Like, it wasn't that kind of game for Tennessee. But I do think what happened is they kind of got stymied, and they saw a couple of things defensively that they just didn't have time to adjust to. And then there were a few things that physically they just can't match up with. Georgia won with fewer guys in the box when they needed to against the run, and then they decided to add pressure. And that pressure got home. And that pressure got home mainly because the other guys who were going to be in one-on-ones, they won those one-on-ones most times. And so Tennessee's been pretty good at picking up pressure, but I think they've done it against other groups that didn't have a lot of those individuals that could just win at the point of attack. Well, they did against this group. So it's I liked what Kirby did. I liked the plan that him and that defensive staff put together. They mixed and matched a lot, but they won a lot in man coverage. And that's what a lot of teams have not been able to do against Tennessee. You know, they kind of started out saying, okay, go underneath, pick us apart. If you want to take, 15, 18 plays on a drive to try to score, we'll take our chances with that because we think you're going to get greedy and make a mistake. And then they rotated out and said, okay, we're going to add pressure. And they said they're going to play man. Not a lot of people have been able to do that, and all of those things worked for Georgia. So I think when Tennessee did try to counter, Georgia was a step ahead, and they had already countered to something else. So therefore, your adjustment not necessarily trying to give you advantages on that. It's giving you advantage on what you had seen previously.
And we very likely are going to see a Georgia-LSU SEC championship game in December, and we'll certainly talk about that as we get closer. One more for you, Cole.
Why are people talking about that like it might not happen, by the way? Like, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's done. Like, I understand that you have some things in front of you, but no. That's, too much has to happen for that not to take place as opposed to what has to happen for that to take place.
That's fair. That's very fair. But I think the point you made as we started, it's hard to win on the road in the SEC, has to be respected. And LSU has been good. Like, they won at Auburn, they won at Florida, and they've been good. But you can't nap. You know it. You can't nap in this league. So, is Texas A&M going to win another conference? They're going to beat UMass, but they got to play at Jordan-Hare this week, and then they got LSU. Are they going to win another conference game?
There's a good chance they won't, because I'm going to tell you this. I think that Jordan-Hare Stadium is going to be off the charts Saturday night. I believe that. I think that the Auburn family has decided that they're going to support Carnell. They want to try to help this team have some positive vibes on the home stretch, and which, by the way, I don't think I've ever in my life seen two Power 5 teams face off, both having lost 5 consecutive games. Like, I'm not sure that's ever happened in the history of football. So good news is somebody's got to win. And I think the Auburn crowd will show up. I think they'll be there. They'll be excited, and that's going to be big. We saw it affect Texas A&M when they went to Columbia, South Carolina. And I think this is an Auburn team that has a little bit of life. I think they're rejuvenated. I think they're excited. Now, that being said, they don't have any balance. They're a team that cannot pass the football right now, and that's got to change because A&M's got the athletes up front to be able to cause some problems. This Auburn offensive line still is not very good. They were better last week, but they took a lot of the Kentucky blueprint and then added an extra gap because they utilized quarterback runs, and that's how they were able to have success against Mississippi State. You got to do it in different ways against this A&M group. I think spreading them out is more advantageous, but you have to at least have the threat of the pass if that's going to work for you. So the good news is Derek Hall, Jeffrey Imba, that defensive line for Auburn was great last week, and they're going to get a semi-inexperienced group up front for Texas A&M, especially center left. They should be able to cause some problems. And, yeah, Connor Wakeman looked great against South Carolina, but that's all we've seen of him. So we don't know in different situations what he's going to look like. You got a couple good receivers. You got a really good running back. So almost going to have to play great football, especially on defense if they're going to find that game. But there's a good chance that A&M loses their last two of their last three because, like you said, they're not going to lose to UMass.
Cole Cubelic, SEC Network. I don't suppose we're going to get you for UAB, are we?
I don't believe so. I don't know that yet. We've got an or, kind of like the old Alabama depth chart for our game, what it looks like next weekend. And I don't think that they'll throw us over to the Deuce again. So
Tennessee, South Carolina, or Ole Miss, Arkansas. Well,
yeah, I mean that would have been cool for me because I can drive 10 minutes and watch UAB practice and talk to those coaches. I would have had good stuff on them, and obviously I feel like I know LSU fairly well. And yeah, that would have been fun for me, but I do not believe we'll be on that one.
Okay. Well, we'll get you here soon enough, man, and we'll look forward to having you back in town when we do. We always appreciate the visit on Monday.
Fingers crossed on that last one. I mean, obviously with what LSU's been doing, it does not look likely, but I think that's one that we would love to have at the end of the season.
Cole, you're the best, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Be well. Cole Cubelic, SEC Network on Twitter at Cole Cubelic, brought to you by Roosters Men's Grooming Center, roostersmgc.com. Get the gentleman's choice. Trust me, it's the precision haircut, it's the straight shave, it's the hot towel, it's the shoulder massage. And if you're looking for a gift for the guy in your life who's hard to buy for, get him that. They'll love it. Trust me. Roosters Men's Grooming Center, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. roostersmgc.com. Bringing our convo with Cole every week. All right, I'm excited about this. Our buddy Gordon McKernan is going to jump in studio with us, the Gord father of NIL. What a weekend for the Gordon athletes, and big NIL news to come as well. We'll have Gordon in studio with us next here on AFR.
AFR.
And speaking of which, I get to tell you about Gordon. And not only has Gordon done so much for student athletes in our community, for people, injured people in our community, but he's a big believer in supporting our veterans as well. You know, coming up on the 11th is Veterans Day, and Gordon's celebrating and honoring those that have served in the military by partnering with Lit Pizza to give away free pizzas to the first 20 veterans at every Lit Pizza location in the entire state of Louisiana. So we're coming up here in 4 days, Veterans Day on the 11th. The first 20 veterans to go into any Lit Pizza in the state, you're going to get your pizza for free, all courtesy Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, who are just great supporters of everything in our communities, from our teams to our veterans to all the injured people of our state. If you've been in an accident, you've been hurt, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com or call 888-8888, 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance.
Acura summer of performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along here. A Monday edition, a victorious Monday edition of AFR. Tigers win 32-31. The Gordfather of NIL, Gordon. Do you like the nickname? I'm gonna get you really close here.
All right.
Do you like the nickname?
I'd never heard it till just now.
Oh, really? Is that really the first time you ever heard it?
Very first time I've ever heard that.
All right, we're breaking.
I may have to trademark that.
We're breaking. Can we get breaking news sounder over there? Musil, breaking news sounder here. Gordon McKernan is just now for the first time heard himself referred to as the Gordfather.
I've never heard that.
Were you in Tiger Stadium on Saturday?
I was.
How was it?
Yeah, just like everybody else. Magical. Just what a night.
You're as I've gotten to know you a little bit, like I've learned your family's history with LSU, even through LSU athletics.
Correct.
So I mean, you're very acquainted with the history and why everything matters the way it does. What do you have comps? Like if I said, hey, what that night was on par with what other nights that you were in Tiger Stadium?
That's probably the earthquake game.
Yeah.
was pretty interesting. That was back in the college days, just because of the explosion of energy at that one time. But I think overall, for what we had last night and what one program may be doing, ascending, another program may be descending, and all the intrigue about, is Coach Kelly the right person and the lead changes, that probably was number one now.
It was an incredible game, man. And I think we're all said, for me, I think that was an illustration of why Brian Kelly came.
Yeah.
It's his 2 best teams at Notre Dame couldn't beat that.
That's right.
His 2 best teams.
That's right.
His first team at LSU, littered with transfers and holdovers, beat him in their first try.
Right.
It's a little incredible to think about what might be. What's this year been like for you since we first talked and you dove into the NIL space?
Right.
Like you'd correct me if I'm wrong here, but you've kind of been re-imaged now. Like, I mean, just in that everybody knows, I think everybody, even people who didn't know you now through the NIL space.
Well, I think people may have a little bit different opinion of me and see me in a different light. And that was part of the hopes. Like, I'm a regular guy, right? Just like you. We're talking about what we like to do when we're not working. We want to travel and our family and things like that. LSU sports is a big part of my life, always have been. Bleed purple and gold. And to enter that space and hopefully it works out to do something for my business is great. But I'm primarily in the space because I love LSU. And I didn't know what the return would be. And it's turned out pretty well. Could I spend my dollars more wisely? Probably. But I wouldn't get as much satisfaction in giving back to your community and your school that helped you get to where you are is always a worthwhile endeavor.
So I'm curious to hear you say that because I think ROI is something that's probably impossible to look. I'm in an industry where we sell air.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it is impossible
It is.
to get a complete total representation of an ROI.
Correct.
But I'm curious to hear you say that because I mean maybe it's just the world in which I exist, but you're more prominent now than I could ever remember.
Right. So I am better known to a group of people that perhaps I wasn't known to before, and I can't calculate that yet. And I think it'll take some time, right, and over a period of years of doing this and seeing the support for LSU and other universities around the state that I do reap that benefit. It's just a little too early for me to tell yet.
Gordon McKernan is in studio with us, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. He's on Twitter and all the socials at getgordon as well, so make sure you follow him. I would love to know, as a guy that is obviously very successful, what your impressions have been of the athletes that you have done deals with.
Right. By and large, overwhelmingly positive. And all of them positive, right? They do have challenges when you work with college 20, 21-year-old, men. Maybe not as responsible sometimes as you'd like to see them.
Happens.
But, I have a 21, 22-year-old son, and he's not responsible all the time, right? So I get that. But overall, it's been a great experience, and some of them are just remarkably humble.
Can you give me an example? Yeah.
Yeah. Just today I met with Josh Williams, right?
Yeah.
And my son was a walk-on with him the same year, and he had been pestering me, Dad, you need to reach out to Josh. He's a great guy. He's my favorite guy from that class. And all right, okay, that's fine. And finally, this week in a series of events, watching him on that block on the touchdown run, I played golf with my brother-in-law, Mark Field, who's a new head of team medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, and we're talking, I said, what about Josh? He goes, great kid. So in a series of about 24 hours, all these positive things come out. I meet him this morning. I give him an NIL deal today. He writes me a letter this afternoon, just like you'd want to be written. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to represent your brand. I look forward to the partnership. I mean, that was really, really good. I mean, I don't get that every time. So when you see little moments like that, you go, yeah, it's worth it.
That is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
The block you talked about was critical.
It was.
I mean, it's one of those plays when you look at, and you just talk about like the little things. And for those, I'm trying to find the video of it, but for those that don't, you just watch the touchdown run.
That's right.
When Jaden hits the edge.
References it. Yeah, it was a key. Right.
I mean, Josh Williams kind of goes airborne. It was really a heady play too.
Yeah.
Because he's trailing, sees Jaden's going to turn the corner, so he takes the angle to be in front.
Right.
It was just a phenomenal play.
So, yeah, an interesting thing, I didn't know about this until just recently. All the tracking and measuring and testing that they do out at LSU from the athletic programs, right? And Josh did, higher in accuracy and timing than almost anybody on the team. His football IQ is really, really high. And I asked him today, I said, Josh, I have 2 5-star running backs that I've already signed, and you've beat both of them out. Why? And he basically said, I work hard and all the stuff you would expect, but he said, I know what's going to happen, and I think Coach relies upon me that I know that I'm not going to make mistakes.
Yeah. Here's the block right here. I mean, he kind of goes airborne and gets the guy decleated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really
unbelievable.
That's really what got Jaden to the end zone. He'd already turned the corner, but the block is what got him to the end zone, which is incredible to see. Gordon McKernan's in studio with us. You did a deal with Kayshawn as well early. I think we talked about that a lot, and he's been a big point of conversation this year because of the slow start, and he really has come on late and seems really engaged. I'm curious your thoughts on Kayshawn, the person, because I think there's just what I know of him. He's a quiet dude. Yeah. He doesn't really say much, so I think sometimes there's some misunderstanding. What have been your impressions working with him?
I would agree. He is quiet, but he is funny when you get to know him, and he's much more outgoing, especially if he's in his element with the group. When we film the commercial together, 12, 13 of us, he's the alpha, right? I mean, he's the one who's talking, cutting up, all that. So he has a big personality, and I think Kayshawn, looking back, between the injury and maybe some of the projections, top 15, maybe some of that went to his head, and he took responsibility in that he didn't do his rehab like he should have. And I think Coach Kelly got him on track with some pretty directed comments, and I think woke him up. And I think he's tried to figure it out. He's just been frustrated. But you're starting to see the old Kayshawn.
Oh, man, he's been fantastic. Yeah. For you, as equal parts fan and business owner,
right?
What's next? Like when you start thinking about this space, what's next?
Yeah. Well, I'm always, thinking of what's next, pushing, trying to sign some extra guys this week just based off of the performance you've seen over the last few weeks. I'm trying to reach out and talking with Jaden's people about trying to do a deal. Mason Taylor and I are close. Hopefully we can solve that. I signed BJ today.
Oh, nice.
Just these guys and it's funny, you get a preseason kind of prognostication of what they're going to do, and then some of your guys work out, some of them don't. But these other people that really rise, well, I'd like to be a part with them. So got some of those signings. Now starting to shift to women's basketball.
Excellent.
Which Coach Mulkey, I'm going to the game tonight. That really excites me, and we're going to be announcing some news really soon, hopefully, between
with women's basketball.
Women's basketball, Coach Mulkey, and all sorts of big things there, and just continuing to push it, whether it's the high school athletics, which we've broached into with Trey Holly and MK and some others. I don't know. I just like to try to create buzz around our company, around what we do, and you got to try to figure out, how do you stand out above the noise every day in advertising, whether it's online, it's on radio or TV. You got to figure that out. And this NIL space, at least for us, has given us that opportunity.
Trey Holly, they're having Trey Holly Day on November the 4th. I saw that on all your socials. There it is right there. Trey Holly, of course, just set the Louisiana high school rushing record, career rushing record. He's an LSU commit. So you signed BJ Ojolari, signed Josh Williams. Anybody else today?
Trying to work with Jaden. And hopefully Mason, we can work out things in the next couple of days.
Okay. It's a fascinating time.
It
is to see how it all goes. What do you think about the rest of the season?
I was just checking the spread on the game this week. That's kind of where I start when I'm thinking through a game, and I was surprised to see it at 3.
You thought it'd be bigger?
Yeah, I did. So, my older brother, who liked to gamble a lot more than I did, always would ask me, what does Vegas know, right? How do they know?
Yeah.
So when you see a 3, and after what we came off of and where we think we're headed, where Arkansas is headed, how is it 3? That which automatically gets me worried. And I was talking to Greg Brooks, was in the office this morning, came by for some fatherly advice, right? Just had a nice visit with him. And he acknowledged it's a potential trip-up game. Saturday morning, big emotional win. They just got beat. They're going to be PO'd.
Yeah.
And he acknowledged, it'll be interesting to see how they focus this week. It's got me worried a little bit after seeing that Vegas line.
Greg and Joe Fouché both came from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Can you hang for another quick second?
Yeah.
Quick second. All right,
sure.
Let's grab a quick break. We're going to have a quick follow-up segment with Gordon to wrap up hour number 2. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. Stick around.
AFR.
Always love telling you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. You know where to find them. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. This happens almost daily, like literally almost daily. I'll get a text, someone on the show text line, who will say, hey, what's the name of the insurance company that you always talk about that can shop rates? Today it was a guy named Matt Johnson, it's right here, who said this morning at 11:25, Matt, he said, good morning. What's the name and phone number of the insurance place that can possibly lower my premiums for home and auto? Insurance Network of Louisiana. If you can't remember, don't worry. Email me, tweet me, text me, whenever. I'll always share it with you. But 293-0450, that's the number, 293-0450. It's in the 225, but they service the entire state of Louisiana. So no matter where you are, call 293-0450. This is a free process. They'll take a little bit of your information, and they'll go shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. It's that easy. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're wrapping up hour number 2. Gordon McKernan is in studio with us. Of course, Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys, getgordon.com, getgordon.com, great partners of ours. Gordon's done so much in the NIL space for LSU. I wanted to follow up because I think the value of having you and being able to lean in a little bit is what you were kind of talking about as we're going to break. Said Greg Brooks came into the office. It's a big week for Greg, obviously. Greg and Joe Fouché, who were at Arkansas, transferred to LSU, transferred back home. And mostly because like you've got an opportunity to know some of these guys on a more personal, almost like mentor, mentee, father, son, however you want to say it level. Whereas our interaction, like everyone's a little guarded when the media shows up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you put a microphone in someone's face, they're sort of trained to put up a little bit of a wall. So you're gonna have to chip away. So like Greg, for example, that's an interesting guy, man, because he's got another year of eligibility. So like, what's it like talking to and working with Greg Brooks?
Yeah, so great kid. I mean, just really humble, look you in the eye, talk, no airs about him. And he's looking for just some advice. Me as a businessman, someone he can trust in terms of, do I go pro? Do I come back, right? So we talk through your rankings, what they're projecting, what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths, how many hours do you have left, what's the coaching staff, and just went through that for about 15 or 20 minutes and visit on that. And then I flipped it on him and kind of what you're getting to. I said, I have an idea that I think would benefit the LSU fan base, Tiger Nation, the community. What if we did a behind the scenes with the different players that we represent, right? Because me and myself, so I'm asking him, how you feeling today? He said, man, I'm just beat up. I'm hurt. And I said, well, tell me, what are you doing? What's it like the day after a game? I would love to be able to give the everyday fan, right, access somehow through our relationship to these fans where they would put out videos or have questions and comments answered that we somehow support and engage so that what did everybody do? What did the team do the day after the game? How did you feel? What are you doing this week? What are you thinking? And they would do little short videos. We'd put them out on the internet. And I said, Greg, would you like to do this? I'd love to do that. I said, because I want you to be personalized to the people of Louisiana, right? Hopefully one day you come back after your pro career and work here and people know you better, right? But just a thought that you've asked me what's next in the space, somehow getting the fan closer to the player. That's what I'm interested in.
No, I think that's what fans want. Like they want that type of engagement.
That's right.
I got to ask you about Harold Perkins as well. He's one of your guys, and he's absolutely blown up. Tell us what it's been like working with Harold Perkins.
Yeah. So when I first heard about Harold, one of the coaches on staff said, he ain't like anybody else we have. I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, we could play him at running back, we could play him at defensive back, and we play him at linebacker. I said, really? He goes, he just moves different. I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, you say that sometimes. And then you're beginning to see it, right? You're beginning to see the acceleration and how fast he closes. And he is a very nice kid, a little bit more, I don't want to call it standoffish, but not as open as some of the other guys. But he's been a pleasure to work with. He's one of those ones that we have to corral a little bit more and say, hey, don't forget about this, don't forget about that. And you can see that. I think Coach Kelly's kind of working with him as well. He's got so much talent, such a big personality. He just has to grow into it a little bit.
Sometimes we forget you're 18, 19 years old.
18.
Like, what was I doing at 18?
Yeah, exactly. You were in the stands and me in the stands. And yeah.
I was definitely in the stands having too good of a time. Right. Gordon McKernan on Twitter, on all the socials, at GetGordon. Of course, getgordon.com. Great partner of ours and been great to the LSU and so many of the local teams in the NIL space. And, of course, always looking for what's next. Maybe a deal with LSU's quarterback, the game-winning pass.
Well, I'd love to do that.
See if
yeah,
that'll
we'll
happen.
see.
We appreciate you for coming in, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Gordon McKernan, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. All right, hour number 3 is coming straight up after SportsCenter. We'll reset some of what Brian Kelly had to say about avoiding the letdown this week at Arkansas. Don't you move.
AFR.
We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com, changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, GMFS Mortgage, they do it all. And they're the largest local lender in the state. Number 1 in Louisiana, number 11 in the country when it comes to USDA loans. Billions in loans, hundreds of thousands of Louisianians. If you are renting, in so many instances, it is still cheaper to own than it is to rent. Build wealth, build that equity for yourself. GMFS Mortgage can help you through. They got so many loan products as well. And sometimes there's zero down loan products for you. You got to just start by getting in touch with that local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage and let them help you through the process. You can go to the website, gmfsmortgage.com. They got loan officers all over the state. So go to gmfsmortgage.com, hit the loan officers tab at the top, find someone near you, and they'll help walk you through the process. GMFS Mortgage, since 1999, changing lives.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story, ESPN's Chris Mortenson's reporting Bills quarterback Josh Allen is being evaluated for an elbow injury to his UCL and related nerves. The team hopes to have more information tomorrow. In the middle of his 5th season as head coach of the Colts, Frank Reich is out. Indianapolis fired Reich a day after the 26-3 loss to the Patriots and one of the worst offensive performances in franchise history. What plagued Reich's Indianapolis tenure? The constant turnover at quarterback since Andrew Luck's retirement in 2019, notes our Chris Canty.
The objective is to get a franchise quarterback. Until you get that guy, it's going to be hard to have sustained winning. Frank Reich is a decent coach, got a winning record, couple of playoff appearances in there. But why have they been on uneven footing? It's because they haven't been able to have stability at quarterback.
Chris Canty of Canty and Carlin. Reich had a different starting QB in each of his season openers in Indy. Former Colts center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday named Colts interim head coach. NBA, after missing the last 4 games with knee soreness, Nets point guard Ben Simmons says he'll return tonight against Dallas.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Certainly appreciate everybody who's been tuned in today. And what a day it is to be here. LSU beats Alabama 32-31 in overtime. Tigers in the driver's seat for the SEC West to get to Atlanta. We will talk plenty about that. We'll get to our college football takeaways in about 15 minutes. If you missed it, we opened the show with some big picture thoughts on LSU beating Alabama, went through the game. That was all in hour 1. Highly recommend you catch that on demand or on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. A lot of you here live watching that. Thank you so much. We always encourage you, if you are watching live on YouTube, take a quick second and smash that like button. It just helps tremendously with all of our shows as the whole channel grows. So thanks for being there. While we still sort of bathe in the euphoria of the win over Alabama, there's also the very real now challenges and conversations of what's ahead. And LSU at 7-2 right now has 3 games to go, and 2 of them are road conference games. And as we've talked about kind of ad nauseum, it is hard to win on the road in this league. And Arkansas, which spent some time this season in the top 10, is waiting, and a trip to College Station against the Texas A&M team, which has certainly not met any expectations. They had also spent time this year in the top 10 and having a massively disappointing season. Those 2 teams await. And they're both games where LSU is a better football team than both Arkansas and Texas A&M. But it's situations where if you don't go and play your best, you are certainly capable of getting clipped. And this is, especially this weekend going to Arkansas, the quintessential trap game. Just like, by the way, last week for Arkansas, Liberty was that. We sat here on Friday, we did our What to Watch segment. One of my What to Watch topics was Liberty going to Arkansas. Arkansas was on the road at Auburn. Big win at Auburn. A week ahead of the LSU game. You know you got the Tigers coming in, which is a game to the people in Arkansas that means way more than it does here. And here comes little old Liberty. But Hugh Freeze had that team at 7-1. They were playing really good football. They were not going to be intimidated at all going on the road to Fayetteville. We saw Arkansas struggle earlier this year with Missouri State when Bobby Petrino came in. Tactical coaches that are really good offensive minds have given Arkansas trouble. And they got popped. So now Arkansas, after this giant letdown, is primed for a bounce back. Meanwhile, LSU, this sky-high euphoria of beating Alabama and looking at what's ahead now, and now you got to go play an 11 a.m. game in Fayetteville, in the cold, 40-degree weather, on the road. I mean, it is the quintessential trap spot. And Brian Kelly was asked today, this is number 14, Music. Brian Kelly was asked, is Arkansas a trap game? Here's what he said.
I mean, I guess that's what they call it. I've never bought into that because I think if it's a trap game, you have not done a very good job with your football team. For example, January, February, March, we did not train indoors. We trained outdoors. So weather's not going to be a factor. We've been outside in 50-degree, 40-degree weather. They know that, Arkansas is an SEC opponent that beat them last year. So your thoughts affect, your actions, right, that affect your physiological response. So we've been working on how we think since day one. It becomes a trap game if you're not thinking right. And we'll get our guys thinking the right way, and we'll prepare the right way. And this is about a consistency. If they want to be a consistent program, they'll think the right way about this game.
You don't think that man has covered every single base? Do you understand like the biggest difference between what was and what is at LSU right now is his attention to detail? That man took the LSU job in December, spent the entire month making over his roster. Mind you, we all know 39 players in the bowl game, 15 mid-year enrollees, all the transfers. We know it. Basically went into a hole. We didn't even talk to Brian Kelly after signing day. Do you realize how atypical that is? The head coach at LSU did not do a national signing day press conference. That's how deep into the weeds he was trying to get this thing back. And in January, he was thinking about playing cold weather games on the road in November. So in January, February, they weren't training indoors. They were training outdoors because of this. That is a borderline maniacal attention to detail. But that's why you create situations so your team isn't surprised. Did you hear him say, thoughts control your body's physiological response? So we have to get our guys thinking the right way. And it's one thing to say it on the Monday before you go to Arkansas after beating Alabama. But we've seen it. Doesn't that in a sense explain? And this is why, by the way, I have little to no anxiety at all about LSU going to play at Arkansas this weekend. He's got it. Hasn't he proven enough times this year? He's got it. Just look at how this team has responded when they faced adversity. We've talked about it so much. They were down 14 to Florida State. They were down 13 to Mississippi State. They were down 17 on the road at Auburn. They were down 17-3 at home to Ole Miss. They were down 7-0 after 2 plays against Florida. Look at the adversity they faced against Alabama, the fumble call that didn't go their way, the tip pass that didn't go their way. Y'all, we've seen it so much. And then just not even in games. Look at situations. You get blown out at home against Tennessee. Remember, that was a 2-point spread, y'all. It was a 2-point spread. At that point, LSU had beaten Mississippi State. They had beaten Auburn. You feel like you had rinsed all the Florida State nonsense out of your mouth and you were improving as a team, and this was your chance. Tennessee coming into Baton Rouge. Didn't even matter that it was 11 a.m. People packed Tiger Stadium. 2-point spread. Let's go make a memory. And people on this station picking LSU to win that game because the weather was nice. I love you, hon. But my point is, that game could not have gone worse. not possible that could have gone worse. And so after you have that letdown, remember, you're playing well, you're feeling good about yourself, boom, you get pounded by an elite team. And then what did you have to do? You had to go on the road to Florida. And I picked against LSU in Gainesville. I did, because I was like, man, how do you get up off the mat? That super disappointing loss at home where you got run, and now you got to go on the road to Florida to take on that team with that athletic quarterback. Can you really get off the mat again? All they did was score in their first 6 possessions of the game. And that was after Florida scored on the second play. It's no longer just a veteran coach standing at a podium saying it. You've got a sample to suggest he ain't lying. They have prepared for all of this stuff. So I'm not telling you that every player today has forgotten about Alabama. But by the time they get on the practice field this week to prepare, and by the time they get on the plane on Friday to fly to Fayetteville, I just have confidence that the head coach, who is so detail-oriented, is going to have his team ready to play in that game on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And they're going to win it, and Bama's going to beat Ole Miss, and on Saturday night, we're going to be toasting an SEC West championship and making plans officially for Atlanta. So that is probably, I think, just the biggest difference right now is you have a coach that is so detail-oriented, that is considered everything because he's seen everything over 3 decades as a head coach. The last truly big game that Brian Kelly won at Notre Dame, and I'm not trying to say that there weren't other big games, but maybe the biggest game that he won there was in 2020 in the COVID year. In 2020 in the COVID year, if you remember, number 1 Clemson went to Notre Dame Stadium. It was number 1 against number 4. And Notre Dame won that game in double overtime, 47-40. Double overtime. You would think, man, you beat number 1 Clemson. First win over a number 1 team in 30 years, whatever it was. And the next week they had to go on the road to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Beat them 45-31. He's just shown an ability to do this in his career, to get his teams ready to play. And sometimes you're not as good. And look, LSU against Tennessee was not as good as Tennessee on that day. And I think you would agree with me. LSU defensively is fundamentally different today than they were in that game because of what Harold Perkins' involvement has allowed them to do. Harold Perkins played eight snaps against Tennessee. Play that game again, I think you have a different result. I'm not saying LSU wins undeniably, but you have a different result. It ain't what it was. And I don't really worry about LSU going to Arkansas this weekend. Could they lose? Sure. I mean, could you fumble a couple of times because a defender makes a really good play? Could KJ Jefferson rip off a 70-yard run? I mean, sure. It could happen. But I don't think it's one of those things where LSU goes up to Fayetteville and sleepwalks this weekend. I think Brian Kelly's got too much of a track record showing he ain't going to have that letdown happen. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by DraftKings. You want to wager on Monday Night Football tonight, you can at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, if you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Official sports betting partner of the NBA. Y'all, right now, if you're a new customer, NBA action going on, that's just $5 on any money line play in the NBA. If it hits, they'll give you $200 in free bets. They got stepped up same game parlays as well. You got to opt in. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Opt in. You could boost your same game parlays by up to 100% right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Got Monday Night Football tonight. One of Otter's 5-packs from Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday. One of his 5-pack was the Saints. He gave the Saints out yesterday. So if you want to bet on it, you can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge and bet on the Saints, Ravens tonight, the NBA, the NHL, whatever your flavor is. You can bet on all of it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-7-0-STOP.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
Y'all, November remains, for the past handful of years, the number one home selling month in Baton Rouge. And the reason is pretty obvious, right? Be in your new home for the new year. You want to be in your new home for the holidays? You can do it. And Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty, can help make that a reality for you. You can certainly log on to agent225.com, agent225.com, or call Darren James. Call his cell, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. I loved this 5-star review at Rate My Agent. It said, I was extremely impressed with Darren James and his office staff. Great communication throughout the process, very informative and helpful. I highly recommend Darren James and his staff with no hesitation. Need to sell your home? You need Darren James, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Oh, when Brian Kelly met with the media earlier today, he did update a couple of players, Armani Goodwin and Garrett Dellinger. Goodwin, of course, was LSU's leading rusher among running backs earlier this season. He had the hamstring injury, returned against Ole Miss, and thought, man, with time off before Alabama, it would allow him a bigger role. But Brian Kelly was asked about Armani Goodwin today and kind of explained why we didn't see a bunch of Goodwin against Alabama this weekend.
He's doing well. Came back from a tough injury. I think, when you look at certain games, Coach Wilson has a sense of, who he wants to go with. And he felt like, he had a 1-2 combination that he wanted to stick with, much more physical group in there. But Armani can play physical as well. I think he was more interested in we did so much chipping with those backs. He wanted a bigger presence in there, but we have great confidence and faith in Armani and expect to see him continue to help us down the road.
Goodwin had just 1 carry for 7 yards in the game. It's good to know that his limited participation had nothing to do with his health. It was just the game plan for this week, and it makes a lot of sense. You did block a lot. Josh Williams is your most complete back as far as ability to run between the tackles, catch the football, block, understanding where he's got to be, everything. So it made a lot of sense. When you're looking at rushing this year, Jaden Daniels has 131 attempts. He's your leading rusher. Josh Williams at 73. John Emery's at 45. Armani's at 43. Noah Cain's at 35 rushing attempts on the year. I didn't realize Noah Cain had that many rushing attempts. He's got 35 on the year. So I guess the point is you're just going to see a rotation. I remember when Frank was here the first time, he always said the depth chart is written in sand. And that was his line. And you would see that a lot. Just think about 2011. Just think about that 2011 team when you had Spencer Ware and Michael Ford and Alfred Blue, and then Kenny Hilliard emerged late in the season. It's just kind of how he's willing to go about doing it. It's who's going to be the best suited in a certain game or certain situation. And it's good to know, though, that Armani Goodwin's healthy, because I do think he runs angry and is physical, and I think he's going to have a big role at some point here as they move throughout the season. I think he's a great closer as well, just a guy who's fresh legs to run hard late in the game. The other update was on Garrett Dellinger that Brian Kelly gave on Monday. Dellinger did not play against Alabama.
Garrett Dellinger looked good. We worked him out yesterday. Much better. I think he's in a great position that he could play this weekend.
I think which is great to hear, I think the bigger question is, do you play him? Do you start him? Miles Frazier's played left guard, and it's hard to argue with the results the last 3 games. Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, with this offensive line, the reps they've gotten, the success they've had together, you never want anybody to get Wally pipped. But I think that Dellinger is one of their 5 best offensive linemen. But continuity matters so much. I'm not saying don't play him at all, but you have the luxury of not having to rush him back because the 5 you got out there are playing so well right now. All right, it is after further review. We're going to get to our college football takeaways here in just a second. I want to remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. It is November the 7th. If you have HSA or FSA funds, remember, those dollars have got to be spent before the end of the year. They expire, and you can use them on LASIK. It is life-changing. Life-changing. And I don't say that in any type of a minimalized way. If you wear contacts or glasses, the opportunity to wake up in the morning and see, to not have to shove contact lenses in your face or reach for your glasses, to travel and not have to pack the contact case and the solution and the extra pair of contacts, to be able to go swimming and not worry, is the water going to knock your contact out? It's just life-changing. It's an amazing gift. You hear people say it all the time. LASIK's the best money I ever spent. Wish I'd done it years before. I'm in that number as well. Had my LASIK 4 years ago and still seeing better than 2020. So today, encouraging you, book that consultation with Dr. Blake. It starts with the consultation. Get your consultation, see if you're a candidate for LASIK, and then you get on the surgery schedule. Before the new year, you could be seeing perfectly. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, let's do our college football takeaways. Hit it, Muse.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
Well, Matt, Paul, I learned the ACC will not be participating in the college football playoff.
Yeah, they're done. Dunzo.
That's over.
Dunzo.
Clemson, 35-14 losers in South Bend. Your last hope is now a one-loss UNC or a one-loss Clemson?
No.
That ain't happening.
No, not happening. ACC needed to be undefeated. They're toast. That's great for LSU, by the way. Oh, jeez.
I learned that it was a bad day to wear orange.
Okay. Let's see.
Tennessee,
yeah.
Lost.
Yeah.
Clemson.
Clemson.
Lost.
Oh, Syracuse. Yep.
Illinois.
Oh,
man.
That was a big one, too.
That was.
That was a big one, too, for LSU's Orange Bowl hopes, because the Big Ten does have a tie-in. And if Illinois, let's say hypothetically, sorry, Paul, finish. Sorry, go ahead.
They're good.
Was that all?
I got a couple more, but
who else was orange that lost?
Oklahoma State.
Oh, God,
They
yes.
did lost to Kansas.
Miami. Virginia. Oregon State. Auburn.
Wow.
Man.
Take all the orange out of your closet.
Oh,
Unless
wow.
it's Cadillac High orange, because the Bears beat Zachary, Pauly, won the district, number 2 seed in the select playoff bracket. Let's go. But it's college football takeaway, so it's all good. Illinois is significant because the Orange Bowl tie-ins are ACC against either Big Ten, SEC, or Notre Dame, whoever would have the highest ranked available team. An 11-1 Illinois, hypothetically, LSU goes to the SEC championship game, loses. An 11-1 Illinois would likely have been ranked ahead of a 10-3 LSU. So Illinois could have theoretically ended up in the orange against Clemson, as it would play out. And Tennessee, I'm assuming 11-1 Tennessee would be in the Sugar Bowl. And Georgia in the playoffs. So, and that's to say Tennessee didn't make the playoff. I don't know. But point is, Illinois losing was very good for LSU is my point. All right. Shame on us for doubting Georgia. I picked Tennessee unapologetically. I thought Tennessee would win the game. Georgia is proof that when they want to crank the decibel meter up to 11, they can kick the crap out of anybody. Them sleepwalking at Missouri and nearly getting popped was merely them sleepwalking at Missouri and nearly getting popped, and shame on them for doing that. But that 27-13 score is not anywhere near indicative of how dominating that was. Georgia was awesome on Saturday.
The race for the Heisman Trophy is wide open. Hendon Hooker looked like he was the front runner. He's not anymore. You still have C.J. Stroud, who quietly kind of under the radar, if that's fair for C.J. Stroud. I just haven't really paid that much attention to Ohio State.
He's a betting favorite.
Yeah, and he has been the favorite. He is again right now.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett, though, man, he's still lurking around there. You know Georgia's going to have the wins. He's putting up great numbers. You have Drake May at North Carolina.
Not happening.
It is wide open.
You forgot about Jaden Daniels.
And Jaden Daniels. RG3 had a funny tweet. He's like, Jaden Daniels trying to hijack the Heisman race. And
he's got a vote.
He's hijacking the Heisman race.
He's got the 7th. There's only 7 players with better odds right now than Jaden Daniels. And what we've seen is you have got to be playing by and large on that first Saturday in December. And that would be a monster stage for Jaden Daniels against Georgia.
It's where you win it. Like that's your moment there, right? It is that game potentially. So wide open race. Wide open race.
Clemson's got some quarterback concerns on their hands. DJ Uiagalelei struggled late against Notre Dame. He was benched for the second week in a row. Sweeney replaced him with freshman Cade Klubnik when they were down by 14, and then he immediately threw an interception. Uiagalelei comes back in the game, and then he throws a pick six. Sweeney said he will continue to evaluate everything at quarterback.
Okay. Piggybacking Muse's Heisman conversation, you better start paying attention to Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, too.
Bo Nix at plus 800 has the 5th best odds right now to win the Heisman. And before you laugh, because of good Bo, bad Bo, all that stuff, he has been good Bo all year. 2,500 yards passing, 22 touchdowns. He's just shy of 500 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns. So he has accounted for 35 touchdowns on a team that's probably going to go 11-1, win the Pac-12, and end up in the playoff. Like, don't laugh. Bo Nix, it's C.J. Stroud, Hendon Hooker, Caleb Williams, Blake Corum from Michigan, and then Bo Nix. If Bo Nix beats Caleb Williams in the Pac-12 championship game and balls out the way he has and continues to stack the pile, don't be surprised when Bo Nix is sitting there in New York and wins a Heisman Trophy. Just saying. Just saying.
Someone should really hire Hugh Freeze.
I know,
that
right?
should happen.
He's got a job. He works at Liberty.
Yeah, he should get a better one. It's not just what happened in Fayetteville against Arkansas. It's last year going to Ole Miss and giving the Lane Train all they wanted. It's a few years ago in Virginia Tech with Liberty giving them all they want. He consistently shows up when facing Power 5 teams. He's doing it now without Malik Willis. The guy can just flat out coach offensive football. He's being wasted at Liberty. You're going to have plenty of openings. Someone should really hire him. He's pretty good.
Texas A&M is on the verge of missing the bowl game.
Texas A&M? Sorry.
They've lost 5 in a row.
Don't do that again, please.
Happy birthday, Kip!
Stop it. Stop it.
Go, Paulie, go.
Anyway, defensive coordinator Mike Elko left after the 21 season for
Duke,
head coaching job at Duke.
Yeah.
Texas A&M has gone 3-6 since then. Duke has gone 6-3. The Aggies have Auburn, UMass, and LSU left on their schedule, and they very well could miss the bowl game.
They stink.
Oh yeah, they stink. Jacob Hester is an elite company. So I told you I'm a college football junkie, and I played the angle we always talk about, unranked team favored over a ranked team. That was Friday night. Washington was favored over Oregon State by 4. They won but didn't cover. They won by 3. Even had 2 passes into the end zone at the end of the game to cover. Like, horrible windstorm.
And 2 timeouts when you could have ran the ball from the 2-yard line, but it's fine.
The lights went out. It was a disaster. It was packed. They literally, the Pac-12 officials called an illegal substitution that there were 12 men on the field. They had to go to review to determine there were, in fact, only 11 men on the field. And it wasn't like someone was running off and didn't get there. They just miscounted how many people were on the field and had to stop the game to review it. Pac-12 is just a beautiful disaster. It's why I love those late-night games. But they threw this stat up on TV. Players with 20 career rushing touchdowns and 20 career tackles. They brought it up because of Jack Coletto at Oregon State, who was playing in this game. And how about your boy, Jacob Hester? But we have to. So it's Coletto, Jacob Hester, and then there's 4 or 5 other people. But after further review, I went and looked up Hester's bio at LSU, and he is officially credited with 38 tackles. So pull that up again, there, Paulie. ESPN Stats and Info have actually shorted our guy. They said they have written 20 touchdowns, 31 tackles. It's actually 38 tackles. So only Devin Johnson of Marshall. No, I'm sorry. Carlos Williams, the running back from Florida State, had 22 touchdowns, 45 tackles. Only Carlos Williams of Florida State has more tackles among players with 20 career rushing touchdowns and 20 career more tackles. So shout out to Hester. Rarefied air there. Gamer. 18. The only 18, by the way. They can keep giving it out every year. It don't matter. Who's 18?
B.J. Ojolari.
No, I mean, it's Hester.
Hester.
Keep giving it out every year.
And Matt Monk.
It's Hester before it's Monk.
And Richard Murphy was 18.
Crazy Legs?
Yeah. Benny Logan was 18.
Yeah, Lloyd Cushenberry wore a patch. I get it. Yeah. Christian Lockacher. I get it.
Lockacher, yeah.
Taj Jones?
Was Taj Jones?
Was a linebacker. Lamine Barrow?
Lamine Barrow
I got
was
them.
18,
I interchanged Taj Jones and Lamine Barrow.
Devon Clark was
Lamine
18.
Barrow.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's only one 18. Like, if they had to retire the number 18, like, who would be the number 18 they retired?
Yeah, no, that'd be Jacob Hester, yeah.
That's it. All right. Oh my God, we are so late. We're going to the Superdome for Monday Night Football Scene Setter next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Monday Night Football. Saints Ravens. Haven't talked a lick about it today because LSU beat Alabama, and that's way more important than pretty much anything. We haven't even mentioned the Astros winning the World Series. Doesn't matter. But tonight is Monday Night Football. It's Saints-Ravens. It's from the Dome. The Saints need to try to keep pace. The Falcons lost. The Panthers lost. The Bucs won. So the Saints got to keep pace. Let's get rolling tonight. If you want a little game, some food for a game watch party, Rouse's can help. Anything for your well, I guess you're probably not tailgating right now, but have people over to watch the game tonight. Not too late. Want to scoop up dinner for the family? You can do it. You want to grab some cold beer, whatever your adult beverages are, you can get it at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Go to Rouse's.com, download the Rouse's app. They have delivery and pickup options as well. So if you're trying to save time as you head home from work to get home in time for kickoff, punch up the Rouse's app. When you pull up, they'll bring it out to you at your personal shopper there at Rouse's.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah, it was good practice today. Getting ready for Monday Night Football. Should be a great atmosphere in the Dome. We're excited about going out and playing against a really good football team that's really well coached.
All right, let's go out to the Dome. Our friend Brooke Kirchhofer from WWL, good enough to join us there as the Saints getting ready for Monday Night Football. Brooke, we appreciate the time. How are you?
Thanks, Matt. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure as always. Let's start by setting the scene. What's it like in and around the Dome and in the downtown area right now?
Well, it is definitely packed with a ton of Baltimore Ravens fans. It's always a fun environment when you can come to New Orleans. New Orleans always attracts so much of the visiting team here because of course, attractions here in New Orleans, Bourbon Street, things like that. But it is starting to fill up here in the Dome. I'm actually looking right at Patrick Queen. He's getting warm-ups in right now on the field, but this place is just getting started and just getting full. Remember, they're giving out those Dome Patrol posters, too, so it's attracting a lot of Saints fans to this Monday night game as well.
Wait, what are they giving out?
They're giving out the Dome Patrol posters because they're honoring those guys at halftime. Oh, they're sick. They're sick, Matt.
The old school Dome Patrol poster, like
old school with the gold.
I need
with
one.
The gold grenade.
Oh, I need one. Oh, I need one.
Listen, I wasn't here for the Dome Patrol, but I have to imagine that those guys couldn't help but laugh when they were like strutting those outfits and taking those pictures. But the guys I worked with were like, no, they were hard. Like they weren't laughing. Like that's just how good they were.
I need one. I need you to give me one.
I'm trying to snag you one.
That's
Matt.
the whole point of this. I need one. Okay, that's all I really care about. Just give me a poster now. All right, hey, who is in for the Saints tonight? Mark Ingram's hurt. I know there's Jordan Howard out there. If you would just run through the personnel, the notable personnel news for today.
Right. So of course they don't have Michael Thomas, as we know he was placed on IR officially. They don't have linebacker Chase Hansen. Mark Ingram is out with that MCL sprain, so he's not on IR. They'll get him back in a few weeks. And then, of course, the big one, they still don't have cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. But given what we've seen from rookie Alontae Taylor, they've been able to plug him in, and he kind of looks like Paulson Adebo did last year, right? He's a day one starter as a rookie, and I think he'll continue to build that confidence level and have success with the Saints defense. But as you mentioned, they added running back Jordan Howard, who's going to have to help Alvin Kamara carry this load, especially against a Ravens team, as you know, have a talented linebacker core, including that big addition with Roquan Smith.
Brooke, I saw P.J. Williams is active as well. Do we know what role they expect him to play on the defense tonight?
P.J. Williams is active.
Oh. Always the danger when you go inside the dome. Let's see if we can get her back. A couple more little tidbits. Hey, I'll take a quick opportunity to remind you about Shaw Bills, ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's Shaw Bills. Of course, you can get your oil change, your tires rotated, and, of course, you can buy tires at Shaw Bills. So just a couple weeks ago, I got my tires slashed. It's honest to goodness true story. Somebody apparently not happy that I picked against LSU in Florida, maybe. I don't know. But go to ShawBillsTire.com. They can patch your tire. They can replace your tires. You're going to buy tires. Nobody will sell them to you cheaper. Name brand tires at wholesale prices than Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, we got Brooke back. Sorry about that, Brooke. I think the cell phone monster in the dome swallowed you up there. So you were talking about what role PJ is going to play tonight, PJ Williams?
Yeah, so he is on the active roster. It's going to be interesting to see how they move the secondary around with Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu, but I think they're going to go ahead and stick with those guys. And PJ's kind of like, you can bring him in and he can play kind of that nickel corner. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, especially with this Ravens offense. As we know, Lamar Jackson top 15 in rushing yards at this point in the season. He is just an incredible threat. Of course, the Saints have faced mobile quarterbacks this year, but you almost need that nickel corner in instead of those three linebackers in. So I think maybe PJ might start there, but we'll see when the game starts.
She's on Twitter at Brooke Chesney. Give her a follow. What kind of coverage you guys going to have tonight at WWL TV?
We are live at 5 and then coming up at 6 again. We will not be live tonight at 10 because of election night, but we will be bringing you all coverage throughout the week after this game, recapping it. And then, of course, the Saints have a quick turnaround, heading to Pittsburgh Sunday as well.
Hey, Brooke, before you go, a big key. What do you think the Saints have to do tonight to win this game, aside from, score more points?
You have to manage Lamar Jackson, right? Especially with this Saints offense that is still trying to find a rhythm and identity week to week. We haven't seen a lot of consistency from this offense. So it's going to be a tough challenge for the offense alone to keep pace with the Ravens. So the defense has to manage Lamar Jackson. Look, they're not going to stop them from running more than, remember, they stopped the Raiders at 38 total rushing yards last week. I don't think that's going to happen tonight, but I do think they need to at least manage him and not let him be a 100-yard rusher and really challenge him to throw, because remember, their tight end, Mark Andrews, is also out tonight.
Yeah. No Rashad Bateman, no Mark Andrews. Looks like it's an opportunity for New Orleans. If the Saints win, they would pull within a three-way tie with the Bucs and the Falcons in the NFC South. Brooke, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you.
No, it is our pleasure. That's not easy to do. I know she's there in the dome, and she's live at 5, and then again at 6 in 15 minutes. So to step aside and take our call to give us a scene setter. Much appreciated. Brooke Kirchhofer on Twitter at Brooke Chesney. Y'all can give her a follow there. Get coverage of the game. We appreciate Brooke there from WWL TV in New Orleans. All right, one final break. We'll come back. We'll do some Otter locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. We got Monday Night Football. Otter and the Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday crew had another winning day, a chance to build upon their winning day with a win tonight. We'll get a pick from the Otter, see if he's got anything else on the NBA slate tonight. So still got Otter locks coming up and what we learned. Glad you're here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Oh, man, we are creeping closer to Thanksgiving now. It is a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Segan Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, fall is here. So it is the perfect time to plant trees and shrubs. If you've ever thought about planting that fruit tree, maybe some shrubs in the front of your house, maybe some privacy shrubs between you and your neighbor, this is the time. November is the time to plant trees and shrubs. It's the best time of year to do it, and Clegg's has an awesome selection, all of the 4 locations. So get on by and see them at Clegg's Nursery. They've also got all your fall flowers, that fall color. If you want that pop of color, the earth tones, the oranges and the browns and the yellows and the greens, they got it at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations. Remember, if you're a deer hunter, Mobucks, Buckbusters, Rice Brand Deer Corn, they got all of it at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women. Women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis. But I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. We appreciate you for being here with us. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, James Ott. Otter, how are you?
I mean, how are you? What do you mean, how are you? Huh? What a weekend. Huh? Come on, baby. How are we? Trick question? Come on.
I said the same thing to Cole Cubelic when he came on earlier. He was like, how's it going, man? I'm like, how's it going? How do you think it's going? This town? Yeah, of course it's going. Great.
Isn't it fun where we don't have to talk for 45 years about the fingertip going back, or 45 years about a bad rule, or 45 years about the guy bobbled it and he didn't get in, whatever, man, whatever. So let Bama figure that out this time. So
could not agree more. Could not agree more.
And then on the scramble, of course, there's a hole we would have been called for when the guy yelled number 40 for, and there's TJ Yeldon or whoever down the right field, right sideline for a touchdown. It was, Charlie and I during the pandemic, Matt, we were all creating content. And so we did our 40 by 40. And it was our 40 biggest Louisiana sports members over our 40 years of living. And we've lived a little bit longer than that. But anyway, and so we, that's kind of how what we could go back with. And we've had 2 nights of sleep on this. So between Charlie and I, we got 65 years of covering this beat. And, well, some more, my 5 years of college and Charlie's 15. So that's 85 years,
15 years of college. I caught it.
I mean, that guy loved his poker in college. Poor fella.
Musa looked up like,
so we're going to shift it a little bit, and we're going to try and place this historically, bounce things off of each other.
Okay.
I mean, the whole, it's, I looked at it. Here's one, Matt, for you. I did some research. The memorable 2-point conversions. It was the 84 Sugar Bowl. Nebraska was number 1. They scored 40 seconds to go against Miami, looking for their first natty. Osborne kicks the extra point. They win it.
Yeah.
They missed it, okay?
Yeah.
And then at South Bend, Catholics versus convicts.
Yep.
Miami scores with 38 seconds to go. They go for 2. Walsh has it in 2 things. Same thing here. Guess what the score was in all 3 games?
32-31.
31-30. They missed it. 31-30. They missed it. 31-30, Mason Taylor, make that one 32-31.
Love it. Awesome. That's a great coincidence there, by the way.
Yeah, and guess what? All through to the slot guy in the right on a roll for the ball on the left hash.
It's almost like that's a common play that people run.
Yeah, a little bit. And wasn't that the Saints? Didn't they run it from
the Saints? Did it to Lance Moore, and then Clemson for the national championship on the pick play, to Hunter Renfrow. Yeah.
So we'll go.
Amazing. Roll the quarterback to his dominant arm side and give an opportunity to run or pass it. Amazing. What a thought. What a thought.
Yes.
Anyway.
So,
all right, what we got, man? What we got?
All right. Well, you heard the show yesterday in the church parking lot. So,
I did.
I mean, yes. So,
hey, at least I went to Mass, all right?
Every time. For those who attend church with Matt, why he likes 5 candles is for my 5-pack. So, we need all the help we can get. I gave up 5 picks.
I was sitting there during the entrance hymn, and I was betting Paul Nolan's last pick, which was the under in the Jets Bills, and it hit. So thank God. God did not hold it against me.
Leave your phone in the car.
I always do, except I needed his last pick. I always do. You wouldn't text me. I always do, but I needed the last pick.
I'm on the air. How often do you text me when you're on the air? Okay,
I know that's how I waited until you got to a
I know
break.
Otter Lock is a one-way street. I get that.
I was so respectful of it. You have no idea. I'm driving to church, like waiting for you to go to break before I hit send on. Please send me your pics. I swear, I was trying. I never text people when they're on air. I try to be so respectful of that.
People
but I needed
always
the pics.
ask why I go to 9 a.m. mass. What? Because I got to get my action now. Come on. I mean, no distraction. Give me a good frame of mind, the whole thing.
Well,
we went 3-1.
I did a 2-hour morning scone, all right? What do you want to take?
Washington plus the points, that hit. Chicago, boy, that was a little bit fortunate, but that hit.
Yep.
And then, oh, gosh, I forget. The Bears, Detroit. In Detroit, outright winner. Man, boy, Rodgers was awful in that game. My gosh. Lost on Arizona at 3, and the fifth pick was the same.
Yeah.
So I like to take to this spot. Allen kind of, what? Brady likes to work the middle of the field. So does Lamar Jackson. We know about Dennis Allen drawing up good plans to stop Brady. Brady does not have his little whoopee, his blankie. Andrews is out tonight. So I think the Saints, man, with the coming off a win, a little fired up dome. Like the Saints plus the 2. That's my fifth pick.
All right. Otter, where are you tonight?
City Slice Pints and Pizza to watch the game. We got Pelicans as well. We'll talk about trying to place this win historically. So much to take from Saturday night. We're going to have extensive coverage.
All right, Otter, we got to run. Have a great show.
AFR.
All right, we're brought to you by Mold Zero USA. Mold-Zero-USA.com. Don't let mold be a problem at your home, at your office, business, whatever it may be. Mold Zero is a patented, non-toxic dry fog technology. It's so easy. Call Jim and the gang. They'll give you a free estimate on what it'll take to come dry fog your building, your home, whatever it may be. And we're talking about minimal disruption. They come in, close all the doors, spray the dry fog. They let it dwell for about 45 minutes. As soon as the fog dissipates, you can go back into your home, your office, completely fine. It's non-toxic. It'll get in every nook and cranny of your entire home, kill mold, odors, all that. And there's no risk at all, no harmful risk at all to you, your pets, or anything like that. Mold-Zero USA, your home, your office, your place of business, Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans, Mold-Zero-USA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories.